Dano's Marine in Fort Pierre is your one-stop shop for all things boats and watercraft. They are your local Vexus and Alumacraft boat dealer. Some of the best boats on the water. Dano's also offers a full line of services to maintain your boat out of the water so you can enjoy more time on the water. Their certified technicians proudly service Yamaha, Mercury, and Everroot motors. Stop in today to visit about your next watercraft. Dano's Marine, proud sponsor of Pier and Fort Pierre athletics and events.
The foundation for how we do business is right in our initials, W-E. We. Everything we do is a partnership. We understand solving the many complex challenges growers face every day takes teamwork. And when we succeed, we do it together. That's the power of we.
Lucky for us, life is full of choices, big and small. They define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business, Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance. Contact your local Farmers Union Insurance agent today.
When you're in the need for high-quality replacement auto parts, look no further than Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop in Pierre. Zander's has been servicing the Pierre area for over 40 years. Their professional parts techs can get you the part you need and get you back on the road. Stop by Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop at 500 West Sioux in Pierre or call 224-9221. Zander's, your source for domestic and foreign auto parts and accessories.
Grossenberg's Chopper Days promotion is back. The entire month of February, Grossenberg Implement is offering 10% discount on common wear parts for self-propelled 4-H harvesters. These savings are for higher volume wear parts for 4-H harvesters and heads like feeding, cutting, kernel processor, blower, auger, and spout parts. Now is a great time to make sure your 4-H harvester is ready to go when you need it and save 10% on the parts during the month of February at any of Grossenberg's 9 locations.
This is what matters.
West, DRG News App, South Dakota Attorney General's Office, Division of Consumer Protection, Agtegra, CHS River Plains, Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg, Bauman Lumber, and Wagner Auto. And now, the pregame show.
High school football coverage on KGFX brings us back to Fort Pierre at Ole Williamson Field, where it's homecoming night as the Stanley County Buffaloes welcome in the Redfield Pheasants. And we welcome you into our broadcast booth on a gorgeous Friday evening. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart. We are getting close to kickoff here as the Stanley County Buffaloes look to win their second straight game and move to an even 500 on the season. It's been a tough go of things for the Redfield Pheasants thus far. They sit at 0-3 on the year, still looking for their first win, but Wade Schlatter has some young guys on this team that he feels like are coming a long way, and we'll get to all of that here in our Bank West pregame show. Hope you all had a wonderful Friday afternoon. Excited to bring you some Friday Night Light football here on KGFX. Reminder, you can also watch tonight's game live on drgnews.com at the KGFX station page, and you can listen to all of our coverages tonight by downloading the DRG News app. We've got games going on all across our airwaves. It is a busy Friday evening. KMLO, that game underway with Spencer Gosh as he is currently calling the Lemon at Harrod Selby area game. We've also got Mobridge versus Aberdeen Roncalli on Star 99 tonight, right here on KGFX. Stanley County getting set to take on Redfield. Chamberlain at Miller Highmore Herald on KPLO. And the Pierre Governors on the road at Watertown tonight on River 92.7. So go ahead and download that DRG News app. Make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more enjoyable. Also, great crowd on hand here tonight. Wouldn't expect anything less from the Buffalo Buffalo faithful as the homecoming crowds and, well, homecoming king and queen await to be named at halftime. But a lot of purple and gold in the stands tonight. A lot of folks still making their way out to the field this evening. The South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you to slow the drive. Arrive alive, you've got someplace to be. Well, it was a great Friday night last week for the Stanley County Buffaloes when they got their first win of the season, a comeback victory against Leola Frederick area. And boy, was it a thriller. Some say the best game that they've ever seen at Ole Williamson Field here in Fort Pierre. What a thrilling event it was. It was a great game for Paxton Deal. He caught 11 passes for 225 yards. He had a touchdown. Weston Prince, the quarterback for the Buffaloes, had a great game as well. He completed 11 of those 12 passes to Paxton Deal, as I mentioned. He also threw for 258 yards, but the Paxton Deal and Weston Prince connection was clear as ever last week. And we expect Redfield to try to take that away and force Weston Prince to go other places with the football here this evening. There's also some injuries for the Stanley County Buffaloes. Tegan Breitag will be on the sidelines in street clothes this week. He hurt his hamstring last week, and, well, Max Foth said he was about 50-50 if he was going to be able to go tonight, but they're erring on the side of caution, and they're going to get some younger guys some more experience. One of those younger guys that we'll see tonight, he's not young in terms of his grade in high school, but he is young in terms of experience, and that's Joe Malm, who will be starting at wide receiver here this evening, and he earned that spot because of some of his play on special teams last week. Max Foth, head coach of the Stanley County Buffaloes, has now said, we are going to start finding a guy each week that makes big plays on special teams, and he will be starting the following Friday, and that is the case for Joe Malm. For the Redfield Pheasants, they went down to Britton Hecla a week ago. Final score 61-22. They have yet to go a game where they have not given up 54 or more points in all three of their losses. They have scored 22 in 2 games, but they weren't scoreless against Kimball White Lake. Their first loss of the season came to the team that Stanley County beat last week, Leola Frederick area. They went down by a final score of 54-22. If you weren't with us last Friday night, Stanley County was trailing late in the fourth quarter. They got the ball back with a tick under 3 minutes to go in the ball game, and, well, they just about went the length of the field. An unbelievable 2-minute drive put together by both Weston Prince, Paxton Deal, and capped off by Landon Bame, who ran in the winning touchdown, and it was one of 4 touchdowns of his night last week, and it was an absolute thriller. 36-30 was the final score, nip and tuck the whole way. But we asked Max Foth, we said, when did you know that you guys were going to win this game? On that final drive, did you have a feeling? He said, I knew when that ball got to midfield, the game was in our hands. We're hoping for the same drama tonight. We'll see if we get it. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting lineups. We'll hear a word from Stanley County head coach Max Foth, and we'll introduce you to the game officials before getting this Friday night action kicked off on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com. You're listening to the Bank West pregame show. We'll be right back after this short break. You're listening live on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
There when you need them the most. Bank West insurance agents Sam Kennecke and Angie Taylor are here to make your life easier.
As an independent agency, we're able to customize an insurance plan to fit your individual needs.
We work with dozens of companies to find you the best possible coverage and the best price.
For your insurance needs, contact Sam or Angie at Bank West Insurance in Pierre. Bank West, convenient, connected, committed. Insurance products are not deposits, not FDIC insured, not insured by any federal agency, not guaranteed by any bank, and may go down in value.
There's an app for everything, including high school sports, from the stations of DRG Media Group. Download the DRG News app from the App Store or Google Play. It takes only a moment, so you'll have it in time for this game. See live and archive video of all games. And when you select your favorite station during the live stream, the video will immediately pop up. See Central South Dakota High School Sports on your phone or mobile device with the DRG News app. Download it now from the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome back into the Bank West pregame show. We are getting set for kickoff moments away. As I mentioned, we got to talk to Stanley County head coach Max Foth down on the field. Here is what he had to say ahead of tonight's kickoff. Phil, with Stanley County head coach Max Foth. Coach, each week you have talked about there was a lot of positives in some of those losses, and you felt like things were moving in the right direction. They hadn't quite yet clicked.
After last week's comeback win, you guys put 36 up on the board. Do you feel like it's clicked at this point?
Yeah, I think offensively we're definitely trending in the right direction. Anytime you can put up over 400 yards of offense in a game means you're moving the ball very well. So I think our offense is coming along nicely, and I felt like last week our defense, especially in the second half, played really well. So they're learning as well. So we're looking good. Hopefully going to be looking better by the end of September here.
Guys, lost Tegan Breitag last week with a hamstring injury. He said he was kind of on the fence 50-50, going to play it safe. But you also said this is a good opportunity for some of those younger guys to get out and get some valuable reps this week.
Yeah, anytime you're starting 2 freshman guards, it makes a coaching staff nervous. But those kids have really stepped up through in the weight room in the off season and then all throughout fall of camp. And, we look for Jackson State to have big games tonight.
You talked about how important special teams is, so much so you elevated Joe Malm up to the starting wide receiver position for his special teams play last week. Question about practice. Did you see a tick up in intensity in special teams work during practice this week?
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. All of a sudden, when you dangle that carrot out there instead of using the stick, those kids really chase after it. And so I felt like our intensity was great all week, and our special teams, especially on Thursday, was looking great. And you got a bunch of kids that want to play special teams instead of have to, and that could be the difference in tight ball games down the road.
Talked about practice, Sarah. The team practices a little bit harder when it's 1-2 versus 0-3. How do you guys get to 2-2 back to 500 and continue this momentum?
Yeah, I hate to be the cliche coach guy here, but it all comes down to the turnover battle. You look at our 3-game sampling, and we're about -12 on the turnover front, and you just don't win many games turning the ball over like that. So hopefully we take better care of the ball tonight, and hopefully our defense is flying around, causing some turnovers, and picking off some passes and making some big plays.
Best of luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
If you're looking for a heck of a great deal on your next vehicle, then Phillip Motors is the place for you. For over 40 years, Phillip Motor has helped farmers, ranchers, and townfolks find the perfect vehicle at a great price. Whether you're looking for a new Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Lincoln, Ram truck, or a quality used vehicle, you will always find a better deal at Phillip Motor. See the inventory on their website, swing by the lot today, or call 859-2585 and see what they can do for you.
First Dakota has been named South Dakota's best in-state bank by Forbes. And while we appreciate the recognition, we don't really plan to celebrate. We'll just keep doing what we do best. Serve customers buying or refinancing homes. Support farmers in their long-term plans. Finance the growth of area businesses. And help our South Dakota communities thrive. If you want to experience best in-state service, call or visit with a First Dakota banker today. First Dakota National Bank. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back into the Bank West pregame show. We just heard a wonderful rendition of our national anthem by Kason Schmeltz and Taylor Barta. The Flagstaff is leaving the field here. We're getting set for kickoff moments away. We just heard from Stanley County head coach Max Foth. We also heard from the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection and what they had to say. They enter and sponsor our introductions of game officials. Tonight's officials will be Mr. Randy Schmidt, Justin Tobar, Chad Brooks, Ethan Deshak, and Adam Ness. And a big thanks to those guys for coming out and making it to tonight's game. The South Dakota SDHSAA is always looking for more great officials. If you've ever thought about getting involved, go to SDHSAA.com and get yourself applied. I always say it, there's no better state to begin officiating than the one right here in South Dakota. Stanley County is looking great in their new grays. They are broke them out last week. They got the win, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Redfield is in their road whites with their blue helmets and yellow numerals on either side. They've got blue stripes down the side. Stanley County's grays, they have got their numerals in a dark purple outlined in buffalo gold. They've got the white helmets with the buffalo logo arched and stretched across the side. And you know what? They're 1-0 in those jerseys, and they look to make it 2-0 here this evening. As we mentioned, it's been a tough start for both of these teams in this season. Stanley County feels like they might have turned a corner in last week's win. They started out with a 72-32 loss against Hill City on the road, and those scoreboard, seeing those scores and just kind of figuring out, what the actual game looked like, we'll read two different things. For Hill City, they scored a lot of those points on the back end. You might not remember if you didn't see that game. Stanley County was leading by 3 points in the first half at one point. They got the ball back, and it was a turnover on a fumbled handoff from Weston Prince to Landon Bame that ultimately shifted the momentum away from the Buffaloes and in favor of the Rangers, and the Rangers would run away with it from there. And then, of course, everybody remembers the washout that was 2 weeks ago as they welcomed in Parkston, and we got dumped on for hours before kick. Lightning that rolled through. It was a late start, and if there was ever any weather that favored one team immensely and did the opposite for the other, well, it was that Parkston and Stanley County game. Parkston was a team that likes to ground and pound it. They're a double wing offense. They run the ball more than anything else. And Stanley County, well, they're an air raid offense. They love to throw it. They love to move it around the yard, and they love their route trees. So being able to throw the ball was very difficult for Stanley County in that loss against Parkston. They would lose 40-0. But things feel like they turned last week for Max Foth in this ball club because they were trailing, as we mentioned earlier on, to Leola Frederick area. But they came back. They never feared the course. They never veered away. And they played hard. They got the ball back with just under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And they drove down the field and got the win, getting their first win of the season. Now I got to talk to Max Foth this week in our weekly coaches call. And he said, you know what, practice feels a lot different for those guys when you're at 0-3 versus 1-2. And he could visibly see a difference in his team practicing this week, and we hope to see that play out on the field. Folks, Max Foth feels very confident that he can get his team to 2-2 this week and ultimately turn things around on the season. As we look ahead at the rest of the schedule, everything is on the road after tonight's homecoming matchup against Redfield for Stanley County. Next week, they will go on the road at Gregory. Then they'll follow that up with maybe their toughest test of the season when they go on the road to Wall. They stay on the road after that game and take on Kimball White Lake until their late season bye, and then their final game coming up on October 17th against Gettysburg. That will round out the regular season, and Stanley County's got playoff hopes. For the Redfield Pheasants, they'll take on Wabash Summit next week at home. They've got 3 home games in a row after tonight in their road matchup against the Buffaloes. After Wabash Summit, it'll be Hamlin on the 26th of September, and then October 3rd, they take on Warner before going back on the road to close out their season at Florence Henry. Let's take a quick look at these starting lineups here for tonight. As always, we'll start with the visiting Redfield Pheasants as their captains, Madden Odeland, Connor Zenz, Jackson Rude, and Noah Johnson head out to the midfield Buffalo, painted on the field for the coin toss. It'll be Noah Johnson on the defensive side, and he'll be playing the edge. It'll be Casey Herman on the other side of him on that D-line, a freshman weighing 155 pounds. At nose tackle, we'll see a couple different guys get shuffled through. Zach Bonine, Raleigh Benton, and Xander Parisian will be kind of shifting and moving around, giving some guys breathers. They've got some big size up front, including Nicholas Schottenkirk, who weighs in at 255 pounds. He's not the only 250-pounder along that defensive line. Raleigh Benton also weighs in at 250. And Zach Bonine and Xander Parisian, Xander Parson, those guys are not small guys either. They both weigh in at 230 pounds. The linebackers for the Pheasants will be Connor Zenz, Lane Moore, Madden Odeland, and Derek Bogart. Those guys will also shift. They run a 2-linebacker defense. Their defensive line will start with 2 men down with their hands in the turf and 2 edges standing on either side. In their secondary, 1 safety, 2 cornerbacks. Jackson Rude, Isaac Bannister will play safety, and Tate Newharth will be the other corner. And those guys are going to be busy tonight, and Max Foth hopes that they have their hands full with this Stanley County offense. We'll introduce you to that Stanley County offense here in a moment. Stanley County has won the toss, and we're waiting to see and signal what they decide to do. They will receive. They want the ball first, so it'll be Weston Prince commanding the offense for the Buffaloes here tonight. He'll be handing the ball off to Landon Bame. We've seen Joe Malm getting his first start in offense here this evening. As we mentioned earlier in our Bank West pregame show, it was Joe Malm's play on special teams that elevated him to the starting role goal here tonight, something that Max Foth said he is going to actively try and do each week, find himself someone that played outstanding on special teams and elevate them to a starter, whether that be on offense or on defense. We'll also see a lot of Brendan Bothwell tonight, as much as we saw Paxton Deal last week. And Paxton Deal, as we mentioned, 11 catches for 225 yards last week. Absolutely torched that Leola Frederick area secondary. And Brendan Bothwell, he didn't really get that much action. You know, it's one of those connections between Prince and Deal. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he continued to go to Deal. And Brendan Bothwell, you know, Coach said he was a little bit frustrated. He was running open, but Max Foth said he is sure that tonight will be a big night for number 7. Up on that line, it'll be Trevor Caldwell snapping the ball. Seth Cronin getting back to business up front as well. In the absence of Tegan Breitag, and Jackson Hofteaser will be playing guard for the Buffaloes. Case Kolda will be checking in at tight end. Redfield will be kicking off from right to left on your radio dial as we are getting set. The Buffaloes have Landon Boehm and Brendan Bothwell back to return. Redfield's kicker will be Mr. Jackson Rude. He is set to go. It's a gorgeous evening as we are underway with a chopping, bouncing, rolling kick that's fielded on the fly on the third bounce off the turf by Case Kolda. He will drop on top of it at the Stanley County 37, maybe mark him up to the 38, but good starting field position here for the Buffaloes. Who knows, maybe Redfield trying to get a cheap possession to start this game. They are coached by head coach Wade Schlatter. And who knows, you know, he's had a tough go of the season to start, and he's running into a very tough offense. You might just try to find a free possession wherever you can. Stanley County going to start on the left hash. Weston Prince in the shotgun with 3 receivers to his right. He sends one in motion. That's Paxton Deal. Bothwell is out in coverage. Rolling wide open is Bothwell. He makes the catch at the 35. Nobody out in front of him. A Pheasant nowhere to be found. And on a first play, it's a touchdown, Stanley County. 62 yards on the first play of the game. It's Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell. And the Buffaloes strike in the first 12 seconds. Brendan Bothwell lined up in the slot again to the right. Going for 2 are the Buffaloes. Prince takes the low snap, rolls out right, fires on the move, just out of the reach of Brendan Bothwell, so it'll stay 6-0. But in the blink of an eye, Stanley County has jumped out in front after a 62-yard pass and catch from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell. Well, they started with the ball on the left hash and offered themselves a ton of room to the right, something that Max Foth kind of scripted in his first couple plays. You know, you go back to last week, and Max Foth actually had the first 3 plays scripted. He kind of told me, he said, keep an eye out. I think we're going to score on play number 3. This is last week. The only problem was the first pass was a little bit off the mark from Weston Prince to his intended receiver, so it kind of threw a cog in things. That third play would be an interception, but you know, Max Foth did say we've got another script for this week. We're going to get the ball in the left hash, try to roll out to the right, throw on the move. We're going to try to find Bothwell on a little post route on the backside. And then he continued to talk about the following plays. I don't think he envisioned scoring on a 62-yard heave on the very first play from scrimmage. So Max Foth is ahead of schedule here this evening. Trevor Caldwell on to kick this one away. It's a low end-over-end kick. We've got a whistle before it bounces to Chase Odland. And there was a flag, which was the cause for the whistle. Looks like Stanley County was offside, so Caldwell will have to kick this from his own 35 instead. Back returning for the Redfield Pheasants, Jackson Rude is returning from his left hash, and over to his right is Connor Zenz. Both of these 2 guys, captains for this Pheasant squad. Wade Schlatter, head coach for Redfield, saying these guys are more lead by example. They're not the real rah-rah type of guys, as this one is end over end, and Odland receives it at his own 20-yard line, going to the right side, crosses the 35 before he's wrapped up
and drop down. Good coverage there by Bryant Zabe, and he makes the tackle. Case Colda in on the tackle as well, and Redfield will start from their own 35-yard line. We'll push it up to about the 36 now to make it official. Ball will start on the right hash, and we get our first look here at the Redfield offense in Grady Holscher, Redfield quarterback. Lead official there, making sure that the play clock is reset. They're going to start under center with kind of a three-man stack to the left side at the tight end position. One man in motion. That's Isaac Bannister going from left to right, and we've got a flag on the play, and that'll be a false start. So now both teams have one. So that's not what Redfield wanted to do. They wanted to go forward instead of backwards in their first offensive possession. But they will be bumped back to their own 31-yard line. Again, ball on the right hash. Gorgeous night for football. It was hot this afternoon for all the homecoming festivities. There was a parade. They had a pep rally. Temperatures getting up there for mid-September, I guess you should say, around this point of the year. Same formation for the Pheasants, three-man stack. They're going to toss it and run it here to the right side. Same play they started with last week, but not the same result. Connor Zen's on the carry. He is tracked down and tackled. Brendan Bothwell in on the tackle there, as was Ezra Rutherford. Last week, that run for Connor Zen's got all the way down into the red zone, if I remember correctly. That was in their game against Kimball Whitelake. As it's 2nd down and 7, was about a gain of 6. They're going to try to throw deep on this play, leaning back and heaving, and incomplete. It was intended there for Isaac Bannister up the far sideline. The Redfield sideline from our vantage point is that far sideline, but that'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Connor Zen's, as we mentioned in that previous game, had a really good start, but Redfield was not able to do anything with that possession. Is deep into their opponent's territory as they got it. They're going to go back under center, move that three-man stack to the right side. Basically lined up where the tight end is. Chase Odlin, the quarterback, rolling out to the right. Fires on the move. He's got his man. It's Isaac Bannister, but Bannister is going to be dropped at the 45. They needed to get to the 46 for the first down. It'll be 4th and 1 yard. And I think Redfield knows that they're just going to have to try to push the chips into the middle of the table this entire game. And now we've got a whistle in there. Curious about the mark. Doesn't look close enough to need a spot. And they've got the reason for the stoppage was a sideline warning against Redfield. So that is their first warning. But they've got their punting unit out on the field. Ball still in their own territory. It's 4th and 1. And I think this is about a 50-50. You'd see teams go for it versus punt. But Redfield is going to boot it away. Back to return is Bothwell. Good punt and takes a Redfield bounce past the 20. Going to be fielded by Bothwell at the 11. Flag is thrown for a block in the back. Bothwell is wrapped up at the 14. And he's finally stopped there by a host of Redfield Pheasants.
There is a flag on the play.
They're marking him down in between the 10 and the 15, but they're still kind of milling around. Doesn't matter. That's not where this drive will start, as this penalty will move them back closer to their own 5.
Preliminary indication is a block in the back against the Buffalo.
So they're still marking it out. Still walking, but the penalty was announced. It is against Stanley County, and it was a block in the back. So they finally got the spot, and Stanley County will start inside their own 10. They'll mark him down and place it at the 9. So it'll be 1st and 10. Prince is going to take the snap, turn, and hand it off to Landon Bame. He is wrapped up and dropped behind the line. A good play there from the Redfield Pheasant defensive line. Tackle made by Zach Bonine. And that will be a loss of about 3 yards, it looks like, on 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd down and 13. Under 10 minutes to play. Stanley County leading 6-0. Prince in the shotgun, all alone, turns, fires to the right side, looking to complete Paxton Deal on a bubble screen, but a great job getting his hand up by Noah Johnson coming off the edge. And that could have been disastrous for Stanley County. And that ball stayed up in the air a little bit longer. We might have seen Johnson underneath it, and he would have just waltzed in for a touchdown. But instead it falls incomplete. Good news for the Buffaloes. Checking back into this ball game for Stanley County is Jace Hand. Another guy that Max Foth has just been absolutely thrilled with. Foth says Hand just so close to being a great player. As this 3rd and 13, snap is low, fielded by Prince. He's going to fake the jet sweep, run it himself, and he's got the 1st down. Across the 20-yard line, tackled there by Jackson Rude. Weston Prince broke a few tackles on that play, and he picks up about 15, maybe 16 yards, and it's 1st down for Stanley County after a 3rd and 13. Absolute dagger. Here comes the tempo for Stanley County. This pass quickly out to Bothwell, but deflected again at the line of scrimmage, and again by Noah Johnson. 2 great plays in the early going by Noah Johnson. And what that does, too, for Redfield is it slows down this up-tempo offense of Stanley County just a bit. Prince will empty out the backfield. He sends Landon Bame out to the right side, just inside of Bothwell. Bame in motion, takes the snap, hands it off on the jet sweep. Bame to the left side across the 30, tripped up by the shoelaces. And a good tackle made there by Derek Bogart. And that'll bring up 3rd down, and a great tackle, I should say, by Bogart, because he saved a 1st down. He now forces a 4th and short, 3rd and 1. Ball at the Stanley County 33. They need 1 yard, and it's a short yard to get the 1st. They'll hand it off to Bame. He's got a huge gap on the right side, and he pounds it right through. He's tackled. But it's a 1st down for Stanley County, and a nice tackle there by Chase Odeland.
40-yard line.
Odeland, a big kid, standing at 5'9". Noah Johnson's a big kid, standing at 6'0", 180 pounds. He will give defenses fits. Back to passes, Prince, firing over the middle, and he's looking for Paxton Deal into double coverage, and it's picked off. 2 Pheasants in the area. And they came down with it. Jackson Rude was there. Grady Holscher was there, and Holscher ripped it away from Deal for the interception. There is a flag back in the Stanley County backfield, and another one's thrown. Looks like it's going to be a hold against Stanley County initially, and then Case Colda tagged for a comment to the official after the play. So things going from bad to worse for Stanley County. So what will all come of this? The Pheasants will decline the holding penalty, and then they'll be awarded a free 15 yards for what Case Colda said to the official after the play. Max Foth says that Case Colda is one of his favorite players, and he won't be too happy about that.
Call holding against the Buffaloes has been declined. The interception will stand. Second penalty on
So that is our
against the Buffaloes.
first turnover for Stanley County tonight. Something that you heard in the pregame interview with Max Foth, something that he's trying to eliminate. So they're minus 12 in the turnover battle on the season. Now you can bump that up to minus 13. For those football novices out there, that means Stanley County has turned the ball over 13 more times than their opponents have turned it over to them. We've got another flag. Now, it wasn't a flag. What they are doing is they forgot to march out the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for Case Colda. So they got the ball spotted where the interception was made. And it'll get it even closer to the midfield mark for the Redfield Pheasants. Ball sitting right in the middle of that Buffalo logo at midfield. Sun still draping across about 50% of this new turf field here at Ole Williamson. Under center, Redfield again going to that three-man stack, this time on the right side. Snap and handoff up the middle, and he's going to be stopped immediately. That was Connor Zenz on the carry.
Zenz on the carry. Hand with the tackle.
Jace Hand made the tackle. No gain on the play. Second down and 10 coming up. We were talking a little bit earlier. It was a hot one today. Very unusual for this time of year to be this hot, but man, has it cooled down nicely. Absolutely perfect weather. Temperature probably at this point, if I had to guess, low 70s, and we'll get into the high 60s, I'm sure, here this evening. Second down and 10 upcoming. I formation here for the Pheasants. Odland under center, takes the snap, turns, hands it off. Ball is on the turf, and Stanley County's got it. Fumbled handoff from Odland as he was looking to get it. It looked like to Connor Zenz, but Jace Hand jumped on top of it, so Stanley County turned it over to Redfield on an interception from Weston Prince, and Redfield gave it right back a couple plays later. Jace Hand jumps on top of the fumble, and Stanley County will start this offensive drive inside Pheasant territory. These are plays that you can feel like turn a game around, and not in the good way for Redfield. You get the turnover. You would have loved to have capitalized on that, maybe even taken a lead with a touchdown, as Prince looks to throw here on first down, and it's through the hands of his intended target, Joe Malm, who's getting his first start on offense here this season tonight. Maybe a little bit of nerves there for Joe Malm. So good pass by Weston Prince. Prince was throwing to his right. Malm running a little out route along the 40-yard line of Redfield. And Prince put it right on the money. Just glided through the hands of Malm. He'll get another shot tonight. Second down and 10 upcoming. Two receivers to the left. Offset pistol look again for the Buffs. Landon Bain with the carry. Jukes a man out of his shoes. Across the 25. Trotting across the 10. Paxton Deal out in front blocking. And Landon Bain picks up where he left off. Touchdown, Buffaloes. It'll be a 48-yard carry. And Stanley County leads 12-0. Beautiful run, beautiful blocking up front for Stanley County, not only in the backfield. As Ryder Roseland looked like he checked in and threw a huge block for Landon Bain, but did the rest. But Landon Bain made a nasty move on a couple Pheasant defenders as Weston Prince takes the quarterback keep up the middle to complete the two-point conversion, and Stanley County leads at 14-0 with 7:35 remaining in the first quarter. We'll step away for a quick 30-second break. We'll come back with the ensuing kickoff here on KGFX.
This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Tell you what, Stanley County's offense that loves to have methodical drives filled up with plays has scored, and they've run 3 offensive plays and come away with 2 touchdowns. The first was a first play bomb from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell. That was 62 yards for the score. They would not get the 2-point conversion. Made it 6-0. But then after that previous play, a Joe Malm drop was followed up by a 48-yard Landon Bain run. And he made a move that'll, well, he still has Pheasant defenders dancing. It was a cut from right to left at the 30-yard line. And once he made that move, he left everybody in his dust. Stanley County would get the 2-point conversion by Weston Prince. And
And they lead 14-0. Welcoming you back into the broadcast booth on a perfect night here in Fort Pierre. Wind is blowing from the far side of the field back in our direction into the press box. We're set up with a great view of the Missouri River here at the new football complex at Ole Williamson Field. So many new additions, and it was great to see. I told you that Case Colda got that 15-yard penalty after the interception for something that he said to the referee. And Max Foth told me, he said, he's one of my favorite players. He is an incredible blocker, does everything right. And I said he might not be too happy with Case Colda after that penalty. Well, the two just hugged it out right at the 45-yard line. And it's easy to tell that Max Foth has a sweet spot for his tight end, defensive mastermind, Case Colda. And I think everybody is in good spirits here on the near sideline, as Stanley County has gotten out to a first quarter lead of 14-0 with 7:35 to play. So glad you're joining us here on this Friday night. I've been dying to get back up in the booth. It's always fun to call a win, but when you get the win the way that Stanley County got it last week, you just dream of those opportunities. I mean, Weston Prince, we were talking about last week, as Trevor Caldwell kicks this one away. This will bounce past the Redfield returner. Chase Odlin will watch it scoot by and back into the end zone. And, well, actually, there's a flag down on the field. Not sure what the flag could be. Now it was quickly picked up. I think he was going for his beanbag to toss out on the field and instead pulled his yellow flag out. But going back to last week, we said Weston Prince just dreams of this opportunity. Your team is trailing. You get the ball in the fourth quarter with a chance to go down and win it. That's broadcasters, too. And we had a lot of fun getting that game, and now Stanley County having some fun, leading 14-0. Redfield back under center with Chase Odlin, going to try to cut into this deficit here. They must feel a little shell-shocked as Odlin turns and hands this off. A run to the right side. Wrapped up is the ball carrier. Modest gain of about 1.5 yards on first down.
Brought down by Colda. Short gain on the play.
It was Connor Zenz on the carry. Case Colda making the tackle. Bring up 2nd down and 9. Great crowd on hand here for homecoming. The bleachers are absolutely slap full, as is the concession area off to the left and to the right. Just about everybody in town coming out to watch some football here at Ole Williamson. 2nd down and 10, rolling out to the right, and it's going to be a quarterback run by Chase Odlin. A nice run at that, too. He looked like he wanted to pass, but saw all sorts of room out in front of him, and he gets enough for the first down. They'll mark him down at the 33-yard line of Redfield. A great gain and a great run there from Odlin as he moves the chains. And I would say that maybe a good long offensive drive is exactly what Redfield needs. Keeps the ball out of the Stanley County, keeps the ball out of the hands of the Stanley County offense, gives your defense time to rest. There's two problems with that. One is most of the defensive guys play offense for Redfield, and two, well, the defense hadn't even been out there long. Stanley County's only run 3 offensive plays. Odlin takes the snap, hands this one off again to Zenz. He's going to be wrapped up and taken down behind the line of scrimmage. It's like a loss of 2. Jace Hand in on the tackle. Jace Hand, one of those guys that Max Foth just can't wait to see develop and continue to develop in his junior and senior years. Just a sophomore's Hand, but has been playing like a senior, in the words of Max Foth. 2nd and 12 here for Redfield. They move that 3-stack over to the right in the receiver vicinity. And we've got a flag, and maybe an offside. Case Colda was in coverage over there, and they're going to say he was lined up a little bit too far over that line of scrimmage. So it'll be another penalty against Stanley County. That's their 4th of the ball game. It's really interesting formation by Redfield. They stack 3 receivers just in a straight line. It almost looks like an illegal formation. And most of the game through this first quarter, granted there's still 5:35 left to go, But they've been lined up kind of off the tackle, off the guard in that tackle area. Again, reminder, we're playing 9-man football, so there's really no tackles. Right now they're lined up where a tight end would be lined up if it were 11-man football, that 3-stack on the left side. Odland going to toss this one to the right, and a huge hit from Case Colda as he drops the hammer on the ball carrier, Connor Zenz. Put his shoulder to his chest and just lifted him up off the ground as I could see the bottom of Zen's cleats there on that tackle. Modest gain. It's 3rd and 6. Redfield's got to get to the 43-yard line to pick up the first down. They're still in their own territory. Coy Ludeman lined up here on the bottom of your screen if you're watching at home on the edge. Now he's covered up by Landon Boehm, who's covering the slot man for Redfield. Redfield's in the I formation. Odland takes hands, Zenz to the near side, bounces off of one tackler, can't get away from the second. Case Colda. Brennan Bothwell came down to deliver the first hit. He's short of the line to gain by about 4 yards. They mark him down just inside the 40 at the 39.5. And again, they've got to get to the 43. So it's 4th down and 4 to go for Redfield. They're going to punt it away. Brennan Bothwell back to return. Ball on the left hash. Bothwell standing at his own 24-yard line. Good snap. Punt is away. Sidewinder is going to go out of bounds. It's going to land out of bounds at the 33, but it's where the ball crossed the sideline. We'll see where the referee walks it back to. He is crossing the 40. It certainly didn't cross the line where they're standing now. Crossed the line closer to the 40-yard line. And they're going to mark him at the 34. Well, this is a great crew of officials, but this is the wrong spot. That ball crossed out of bounds closer to the 45 than the 34 where it currently sits. And I am a little bit surprised that nobody on the coaching staff is having a conversation with those officials, because this is the completely wrong spot. The ball crossed about 10 yards further north, but just gives the Stanley County offense more room to pad the stats a little bit. 3 receivers off to Weston Prince's right. Ball on the right hash. 1st and 10. Prince with all kinds of time. Fires over the middle, and he throws it behind Brendan Bothwell, who was open. So that'll be the first incompletion. Well, excuse me, the second incompletion of the night for Weston Prince. We'll bring up 2nd down and 10. We told you about Paxton Deal's week last week against the Titans. 11 catches for 225 yards. And we kind of expect a similar night out of Brendan Bothwell tonight. 2nd and 10, they're going to hand to Boehm. Boehm gets through the offensive line, breaks one tackle, and is taken down at the 40-yard line. Tackle made by Madden Odland, one of the other captains for this Pheasant team. So we'll bring up 3rd down, 4 yards to get a new set. We got to get to the 44. They're in negative side, so they're on their own side of the 50. Prince takes the snap, turns hands to Boehm. Boehm trying to knife his way through defenders. He's going to get close, but not close enough. They're going to mark him down at the 43. This will bring up 4th down and 1 in decision time for Max Foth. Decision is made. Offense still out on the field. No huddle, not a second thought about it. Offset pistol look. Prince trying to get him on the hard count. They won't bite. They look down to the wristband. Get the new play. Prince surveys the defense, takes the snap, hands it to Boehm up the middle. Boehm's got the first down. He just barely edges across the 45-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 47 as he fell forward. Good job blocking up front by that offensive line made up of Trevor Caldwell, Saith Cronin, and Jackson Hofteaser. Hofteaser and Cronin, both freshmen, starting here tonight, getting a lot of playing time on either side of the ball, especially Saith Cronin with the absence as this snap is fumbled by Prince. He's going to bobble and be dragged down. A scary-looking tackle as he got his right leg pinned underneath him, and Prince is slow to get up. In on the tackle, Zach Boning for the Pheasants. It's a loss of 8. That could have been a disaster in many different forms for Stanley County. They could have turned the ball over. They could have lost their starting quarterback. His right leg got caught under Bonin as he was getting tackled, and certainly looked like could have been a devastating injury. Glad to see it's not. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Prince hands off to Bame on the jet sweep to the near side. Not much room over here on this side of the field. Bame will be tackled. It'll be a gain of about 1.5 yards, and this will bring up a third down and very long. Stanley County obviously no stranger to picking up long plays, especially tonight. They were in a 2nd and 20 last week. They threw a little underneath route to Paxton Deal. He picked up 22 on that game-winning drive, and they run the same play here. Paxton Deal's got it. He breaks through the defense, and he's off to the races. 20, 10, 5, touchdown Buffaloes. There's a flag in the backfield. We'll see what the call is here. Paxton Deal just took it the distance. 59 yards if it stands. The conversation begins for our officiating crew here. Randy Schmidt and Justo Tobar are going to say that this one is coming back. A holding against Stanley County. Trevor Caldwell is consoling Case Colda. 5th penalty on the night for Stanley County. So they'll wipe out the huge touchdown play on 3rd and 16, and instead we'll make it 3rd and about 26. See if Paxton Deal's got another track meet here on 3rd down that he's got to compete in. I mean, he took off. There was a couple Pheasants in the area, and I know the play didn't stand, but man, did he fly and just burst through the seams of that defense. 3rd and 26. They're going to run the jet sweep reverse. Paxton Deal rolling out to his right, looking downfield. Thought about throwing, now decides to run, and he's going to be dragged down after a gain of about 6. And he needed about 5 of those to get that first down. 4th and forever. And Max Foth will just punt it away. So a good stop by Redfield here with 35 seconds and counting left in the first quarter. You know, the way this game started, for Redfield to be getting the ball back to start the second quarter only trailing by 2 touchdowns, I think that Wade Slaughter is probably saying to himself, you know what, it could be a lot worse. This Deal boots a beauty. Sends the return man back. Returning here is Jackson Rude. Rude across the 35, taken down at the 50. Another flag comes in. Excuse me, that was Chase Odland on the return. My apologies. Chase Odland gets taken down at the 40. Seen a lot of laundry out here tonight thus far from our officials. This will be our 7th penalty in the first quarter. See which way it goes. Illegal block in the back against Redfield, so they will get pulled back 15 yards. 6 seconds on the clock. 14-0 here for Stanley County on our Wegner Auto scoreboard.
Pheasants start 1st and 10 at their 30-yard line.
So after the penalty, they'll mark him all the way back at the 30. Redfield will have time for one play. This is not a Redfield team that airs it out very often. They like to stick to the ground game, like to try to win the battle up front. They've got a ton of size. And you just look at their offensive line, 230, 250, and 255 pounds. And those aren't the only guys that they can roll in there. Here's that 3-man stack to the near side. Odland takes the snap, going to roll a quarterback keeper out to the right. Paxton Deal tracking, lifts up the leg and takes him down just shy of the 35. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Stanley County with 2 huge plays, a 62-yard bob from Prince to Bothwell and a 48-yard landed Bame run have put them out in front 14-0. We'll be back with the start of the second quarter. You're listening to high school football coverage live on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
Whether you're pregnant
Titan Machinery is actively hiring service technicians to our Case IH team in Highmore, Miller, and Pierre. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make upwards of 6 figures. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single health care, and a generous tool allowance. For more information, log into titanmachinery.com/careers or contact Titan Machinery, your Case IH dealer, at 701-356-0130.
Do you have a new pair of jeans?
Nothing Stanley County out in front. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart, welcoming you back into the broadcast booth as the sun is setting on this Friday night, and the game is, well, heating up. Got Brian Menning working the camera for you if you're watching live on drgnews.com. Great Haley Hansen back in the studio of the DRG Media Group headquarters, keeping us up on air tonight. Friday night full of football across our airwaves. We're so thrilled to be bringing it to you live here from Fort Pierre. Just a perfect night, great crowd on hand. Standing room only at this point. And they might need to install another set of bleachers somewhere if they've got the room. 1st and 10 turned to 2nd and 5 after the Odland carry. Redfield now attacking from left to right on your radio dial if you're listening in the car. Fakes the handoff to the fullback, hands it off to his halfback, Connor Zenz, and Zenz fumbled the ball. We could still see the laces peeking out at us at the bottom of the pile. We'll see what the call is. It's going to be a loss of 5 yards, and they're going to say that Redfield got back on top of it. But, man, that was close to being another turnover. Both teams have given it away once. It was an interception for the Stanley County Buffaloes and a fumble by Redfield for those 2 turnovers. 3rd down and 10 coming up here for the Pheasants. 3-man stacked receivers over on the left hash. Odland under center, and a flag is down. Didn't get the snap off in time. Delay of game. So it'll back him up even further. Odland got 5 yards on the 1st and 10 carry. 2nd down and 5 was a loss of yardage, a fumble by Connor Zenz. And then they go back 5 more with the delay of game. Now, last week, I'll have to check, they do have the play clocks in either end zone, but they couldn't use them because they did not have a sanctioned official here to operate them and keep an eye on them. So they were just kind of sitting there looking pretty, but I believe they are now sanctioned and able to be used. 3rd and 15 coming up for the Pheasants. Dropping back to pass under pressure, and going down is Odland. Jace Hand comes in, gets the sack, and he came untouched from the weak side. It's a huge loss, and Jace Hand continues to impress. Loss of 8 on that 3rd down and 15. Jace Hand gets the sack. It's 4th and 23, and Stanley County's going to get the ball back with outstanding field position. Redfield boots it away. End-over-end kick brings Bothwell to the Redfield 45. Jukes a man, crosses the 40, and is taken down at the 35. I got to tell you what, I don't know if it's the gray jerseys or what, but Stanley County's got the moves tonight. Landon Bain with a nice juke on his touchdown run, and Brendan Bothwell with a nice one on that return. Gets it all the way to the Redfield 35. And I think for Max Foth and this offense, once they get the ball past midfield, they feel like they are in the go zone. 10:01 to play. Stanley County out in front, 14-0. See if some of these, this Redfield defensive line has actually played great thus far through this first quarter. And Stanley County going away from them. Right on cue, Paxton Deal makes an unbelievable move, slips out of a couple tackles, and takes it to the house. There's a flag down on the field, and we hope that another score for Paxton Deal isn't wiped out by a penalty, because that was a highlight reel type of play there for Paxton Deal, what would be his 2nd of the night. If it stands, it's a 35-yard touchdown catch and run on the wide receiver screen to Paxton Deal, in which he broke 3 tackles. But it's a block in the back, and it's coming back for Stanley County. 2 TDs wiped out for Paxton Deal. The last one was a holding penalty. They picked up on about a 3rd and 16. And Paxton Deal took all the way from one end of the field to the other. And now, all the excitement has settled down. It's 1st and 15 for Stanley County. Prince in the pistol, fakes the handoff, looking left, fires underneath. It's another wide receiver screen to Deal. Stiff arms a man, and he's dragged down, but stays on his feet. Past the 35, down to the 32. Tell you what, Max Foth and I talked this week, and he says getting Paxton Deal on the first tackler is near impossible. And Paxton Deal has proven that point in back-to-back plays, trying to shake off that tackle. Good play made on the outside. One of those Pheasants that was in on it was Jackson Rude. And we've got a whistle. And they're asking to reset the play clock. So still getting some kinks ironed out here on the play clock side of things. This Pheasant defensive line has been playing well tonight, as I mentioned. Noah Johnson, Casey Herman, Zach Bonine, Raleigh Benton, Xander Parson. Those guys kind of shuffling in and out. Nicholas Schottenkirk. Big defensive line. They can really plug some gaps. Prince with a quick throw out to the right. This is Paxton Deal again. He's across the 30, across the 25, wrapped up and taken out at the 23. And it's Max Foth wanting to go away from that defensive line of Redfield. A lot of respect being shown to that side. They're throwing a lot of quick passes out to the right, out to the left. They're trying to get the ball out of Weston Prince's hands quickly so that Redfield defensive line can't bear down. Wade Slaughter just had great things to say about his senior class. Talked about his captains, Madden Odland, Connor Zenz, Noah Johnson, Jackson Rude. Rude just a junior, but says these guys have stuck with him through these trying times. And now Paxton Deal, who was a little bit shaken up on the play 2 plays ago, is headed to the Stanley County sideline, hobbling a bit. Max Foth will take a timeout. We'll take it with him. It's an Agtegra break. We'll tell you what they have to say after this.
Or a favorite shirt with a small tear or hole? Or your winter coat has a broken zipper? Don't throw them away. Call Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery in Fort Pierre to have your items fixed as good as new. They also provide hemming, other sewing services, as well as custom embroidery for a truly professional look and design. Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery is a proud supporter of all Stanley County school activities and wishes the student athletes the best of luck in the school year.
Out of the Agtegra timeout, acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Hello, everybody. Welcoming you back into the broadcast booth. The 1st and 10 coming up for Stanley County. They lead the Redfield Pheasants 14-0. And, Wade Slaughter, as I was mentioning before the timeout, gave a tip of his cap not only to his seniors but to his captains, including Jackson Rude. He just said, I appreciate this group of guys. They haven't had a lot of good football experiences, but they gave me a chance, and that's all I can ask for. He also says, in these trying times, it's been a tough couple seasons. Their last winning season was 2022 and 23. They won 6 games that year, but since they faced some tough opponents, they lost every game last year. Their most previous victory came against Dakota Hall back in the 23-24 season. Dakota Hills. That was a 37-3 victory. Slaughter trying to get back to those days. Prince with a quick throw. Looking downfield, got a man wide open. It's Joe Malm. He dropped the first one, didn't drop the second one. That's the one that counts. It's another touchdown for Stanley County. A 23-yard scoop down the field. Joe Malm with a great post route over the middle. And Joe Malm, who was elevated to a starting position because of his play on special teams, just earned himself some more playing time with that touchdown catch. It's 20-0 Stanley County with 8:52 to go in the second quarter. 2-point conversion coming up. Ball on the left hash. Quarterback keep for Weston Prince. He's hit at the line. It'll be close, but they say he's in. A good tackle made there at the line of, at the goal line by Austin Snell. But the momentum of Prince carried Heaton Snell past the goal line, and it's 22-0 Stanley County. We'll take another 30-second break. Kickoff coming up next.
Thinking of a new or used car, motorcycle, pickup, or RV? Think of us. We make all sorts of vehicle loans. We can set you up with payments that fit your budget. So if you have getting some new wheels in mind, stop by and see us. We'll get you the right loan. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We're big on you.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
Being a part of a community.
Welcome back here to Ole Williamson Field. It is 22-0. Stanley County out in front. Justin Cowart welcoming you back in the broadcast booth. That was a Joe Malm touchdown of 23 yards. Weston Prince's second passing touchdown of the evening. Welcoming in all our viewers from all over the country. We've got folks listening from Lake Burton, Georgia, out in Colorado. A couple folks over in the D.C. area, and plenty of folks here in the great state of South Dakota. Stanley County trying to move to 2-2 on the season. I think we even got a listener in New York this evening as Trevor Caldwell approaches the kick, sends an end-over-end boot in the direction of the Pheasants. Going to be returned from the 15-yard line. It's Chase Odland taking it across the 40, and he's near midfield, run out of bounds right at his sideline, and he'll get it all the way to midfield. Well, they'll mark him back at the Redfield 47, but still a great return, giving the Pheasants some of their best starting field position of the night.
We'll start 1st and 10 at their 47-yard line.
So Redfield's offense has been running some different looks than they've shown on tape the past couple of weeks. This is the first time, at least I've seen in my tape study, this three-man stack. They haven't really thrown the ball in the direction of those three receivers. They've been sticking to the ground game with Connor Zenz, but trailing 22-0, Redfield's going to have to start doing some scoring. Maybe trying to throw some different things at Stanley County. But they start with good field position here. Ball on the left hash. They're going to go back to the I formation. Fullback is Isaac Bannister. Halfback is Connor Zenz. Odland fakes the handoff, rolls to the right. Looking downfield, man in his face, fires a floater over the head of his intended receiver, Madden Odland. He had pressure in his face, supplied by Jace Hand. And Jace Hand continuing his great night. Good job of Jace Hand coming off of that near side edge, not biting on the play action, stayed with his quarterback, who's his man on that play, got him in the face, extended those arms, and forced a little bit too long of a pass. A good route run by Madden Odland. He had a little bit of separation from his defender, but a tough throw to make there for Chase Odland. Odland on 2nd and 10, going to try to pass again, rolling to his left, over the head of Isaac Bannister.
Odland's pass intended for Bannister falls incomplete.
Oh, bring up 3rd down and 10.
3rd down for the Pheasants.
And I think if you're Wade Schlatter here, you've got to be thinking something in terms of positive yardage. And he'll take a moment to talk it over. As we've got a timeout for the Heat on the field. Well, it's certainly cool up in this press box. Things looking pretty cool for the Buffaloes. They lead 22-0. We'll take this Agtegra water break with them. We'll be right back. In 30 seconds, you're listening to high school football coverage live on KGFX.
Sharing the history and future of the people all around you. For 115 years, First Fidelity Bank has been doing just that, helping you get the most out of life by providing the services and tools you need, the conveniences and technology you want, and the friendly faces you expect. So you get everything you need right here in the place you call home. Now and for many years to come. First Fidelity Bank.
For over 130 years.
Welcome back. It's 22-0 Stanley County. It's a timeout taken on the field, not by either team, but a Heat timeout, making sure those guys stay good and hydrated. What was interesting was it was a cool night last week and before in that Parkston game. We saw a lot of cramping. Especially on a rainy night when it was cool. You wouldn't think there would be a lot of that issue, but a lot of guys were going down and having to be stretched out. We haven't seen any of that tonight, but we do get a Heat timeout, and Not sure if we'll get another one of those in the second half. Of course, all of our timeouts are sponsored by Agtegra. Great folks at Agtegra want you to know acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Pheasants. Ball at their own 47-yard line on the left hash. And they have certainly put themselves in the territory. If they don't pick this up, they could go for it. And it makes me wonder if Wade Schlatter has a play drawn up to just trying to get some positive yardage, make it a more manageable 4th down conversion. I formation here, Odland under center. Turning, dropping back to pass. Pressure in his face. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped. Landon Boehm from the far side edge comes in, gets the sack. Alongside with him was Jace Hand. Give them both a half a sack. Jace Hand with 1.5 tonight. Landon Boehm enters the stat sheet for the first time defensively, and it's 4th and 20. And Wade Schlatter has no choice but to punt this one away. Well, they went with the I formation. They had Bannister and Zenz back there to block. But the pressure was just so overwhelming for those two guys. No chance to throw it. Beautiful spiraling punt makes its way back to Brendan Bothwell. Bothwell knifing and picking and prodding through defenders, makes his way across the 50 and inside Redfield territory. He'll slide down at the 48. And it's essentially right where Redfield just snapped the ball from. So Stanley County looking to add a couple more points here. Still plenty of time in the second quarter in this first half. 7:52 to play. Weston Prince is going to start in the shotgun all by his lonesome. Got 2 receivers to his left. Case Colda lined up as the tight end off the line. 1 receiver off to his right. Landon Boehm in motion from left to right. They're going to fake the jet sweep. Prince is going to take it himself. He's going to run over a defender close to the 40. Tackle was made by Lane Moore. Lane Moore, a 150-pound junior. Quick pitch, quick pass here from Prince on 2nd down and short. It's a jump ball, and who else but Paxton Deal comes down with it. In double coverage, Paxton Deal climbs the ladder, and Max Foth wants him to continue going quickly. Another big throw and another big completion gets the Stanley County Buffaloes to the 8, and, well, Stanley County might have snapped it too fast. Chains weren't set yet. So no huddle offense going a little bit too quick for the chain gang. Paxton Deal elevating in double coverage. He had Isaac Bannister along with Austin Snell with him. They're past the 10, and Paxton Deal showing off that elevation, that jumping power. Quick pass over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Brendan Bothwell on the slant route. Bothwell was about midway into the end zone. That one sailed a little bit high. And we've got a timeout on the field. This one taken by Stanley County. It's the second of their 3. 7:04 to play in the first half. Buffaloes on the move. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this Agtegra break on KGFX.
Bank West has earned long-term customer relationships by continually adapting to current customer needs while never losing touch with its South Dakota roots. With all our branches and our corporate offices firmly rooted in South Dakota, you can count on Bank West for solutions and service backed by hometown values. We've been there and we'll be there. Bank West. Convenient, connected, committed. Learn more at bankwest-sd.bank. Member FDIC.
For the Corner Station Convenience Store.
Buffs inside the red zone here with 7:04 to play in the second quarter. Justin Cowart bringing you on the live action here from Ole Williamson Field. Ball at the 8-yard line. Prince in the shotgun. 2nd down and goal.
It can be heard on the field. Please.
And we've got to wait a moment. Somebody in the crowd apparently blowing a whistle. Well, we had headlights last week. We've got a whistle this week, and I guess we'll get a cowbell next week. 2nd down and goal. Prince fakes the pass, going to take it himself, and he goes untouched into the end zone. Prince with an 8-yard scamper makes it 28-0. Weston Prince has completed a 2-point conversion. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns, and now he's run for 1 And they look to make it a 30-point lead here with a 2-point conversion coming. Prince from the left hash rolling out to the right, fires a dart to Bothwell, but it was behind him and incomplete. So it'll stay 28-0. Stanley County leading by 4 scores here midway through the second quarter. We'll keep it right here for the upcoming kick. And remind you to stick around for the halftime show coming up here shortly. CHS River Plains halftime show will recap the first half. We'll look around the state at some other high school football action. A lot of games going on tonight, including a lot of games going on across our airwaves. Download that DRG News app and bounce around from game to game. Lemon at Harrod-Selby area on KMLO with Spencer Gosh tonight. Matthew Giavoni's got the Mobridge Pollock versus Aberdeen Roncalli game on Star 99. Chamberlain at Miller Highmore Herald on KPLO with Darren Boyle tonight. The Pierre Governors on the road, leaving the stadium across the street empty tonight, and a lot of folks from across the bridge on the other side of the river made their way over to Ole Williamson Field tonight. Didn't want to make the trip out to Watertown, wanted to come see the Buffaloes on homecoming as they try to get their second win on the season. Redfield's going to need some points. They scored 22 against Britton Hecla a week ago. They were held scoreless against Kimball White Lake, but up 22 in their season opener. As this Caldwell kick bounces twice, comes to rest in the hands of Chase Odeland. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped at the 25. Good kick coverage. A couple of those special teams guys for Stanley County trying to earn a starting role on the offense or defense next week. Stanley County will hit the road next week and won't come back. Their final 4 games all away from Ole Williamson Field. Their scheduling and kind of got thrown out of whack last year. White River's team moved out of the division and was on this Stanley County schedule for the next, back then, 2 years. Was supposed to be on the schedule this year. As the Pheasants get to work on offense. Odeland going to turn, toss, gets it to Connor Zenz. Zenz carries a couple tacklers towards the 30. It'll be a positive gain on first down, exactly what the Pheasants needed. And I think for Redfield right now, you know, if they could put together a drive that just kind of chews up some clock, get some points on the board, they do get the ball to start the second half. So they could really fight themselves back into this ball game if they can get a positive drive here, come away with something, and then go into the halftime break with a little bit of momentum. They've been trying to air it out, but the Stanley County defensive line has been creating some pressure, making it hard for Chase Odeland to throw the football. They're going to run it again. Zenz with a head of steam downhill is met immediately by Case Colda at the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a yard. Man, it's been fun to watch Connor Zenz, the senior, 160 pounds, fast kid, a lot of muscle running downhill, and seeing some of these big defenders for Stanley County like Case Colda lay the lumber. A lot of hitting going on here tonight. Case Colda's going to take a breather. Looks like Joe Malm checking in on the defensive side. Landon Bain moving him around at the linebacker position. 3rd down and 5 upcoming. Odeland going to roll out, escaping pressure to his right. Looking downfield, no receivers down there. He's going to be dropped behind the 30. Nice play made by Joe Malm. Coming all the way across the field, running from the far side hash to the near sideline, chasing down Odeland, getting the sack. It's a 2-yard loss. It's 4th and 7, and Redfield's going to have to punt. Just talk about some of these guys that are getting this opportunity to play, not in this cleanup time in the 4th quarter when you're winning by 35 points. No, this is real valuable varsity minutes as the snap goes by the Redfield punter. Chasing it all the way back and diving on it at his own 1-yard line is Grady Holscher. And that is the last thing that the Pheasants needed. They have wrapped up and gifted the football to the Stanley County Buffaloes on the 1. So Redfield trailing 28-0 gets the errant snap. It bounced by Grady Holscher, and all Grady could do was turn around, chase it down, and prevent the inevitable, which might be a Stanley County touchdown. Weston Prince going to line up with Ryder Roseland to his right and Landon Bame behind him. He's going to hand to Bame. Bame just walks in, and Stanley County adds another touchdown. Landon Bame adds another touchdown to his resume tonight. That's his second. And it's a 1-yard score for Stanley County. They lead 34-0, looking to make it 36 with the 2-point conversion here. Ball again on, you guessed it, the left hash. Weston Prince in the shotgun, takes the snap, quarterback keep up the middle. Good push up front from his offensive line, moving bodies out of the way. Weston Prince hops on their backs and rides in the 2-point conversion to make it 36-0. 4:48 to play in the first half. 30-second break. When we come back, Stanley County kicks it off to Redfield on KGFX.
And the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierce, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
John Hoffman.
High school athletics and youth activities.
Well, Stanley County with maybe what will be their easiest drive of the season. Redfield on 4th and 8 decided to punt from inside their own territory, and a snap just kind of bounced by Grady Holscher. Holscher did a nice job chasing it down and jumping on top of it. Only problem for Redfield was he got on top of it at their own 1-yard line. Landon Bame would run it in on the very next play. Weston Prince would cap that 1-yard touchdown drive off with a 2-point quarterback keep conversion. And it gets us to 36-0 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. And now the cheerleaders are doing their push-ups for each point that the Buffaloes score. I'll tell you, they're going to be looking swole tonight after this thing's all said and done. Kickoff is away. It's going to be returned here by Connor Zenz, and man, did he just pummel through a couple Buffalo special teams attackers. I do not want to be on the other end of a hit from Connor Zenz. Good return. Case Kolda again getting his nose in there, making a tackle. Redfield with 4:43 now to play to try to put some points on the board. As the 35-point threshold has been crossed, it'll be a running clock. So Redfield's going to have to try to be efficient with their scoring. Chase Odlin will go under center. Connor Zenz will be the lone set back. They line up with 3 receivers stacked to the right. Ball on the left hash at the 40-yard line. Quick snap, and he's going to go down immediately. Jace Hand coming through and getting the sack. I think it was behind the line to officially call it a sack. Another one for Stanley County. By my count, that's the 4th Stanley County sack tonight. Jace Hands had a few. Joe Malm had one on the previous drive. Landon Bames got a half a sack. Second down and about 10.1 yards. Under center goes Odlin. That stacked receiver set is now to the left. Odlin's going to hand to Zenz. Zenz breaks through one tackle, gets across the line of scrimmage, and is taken down at the 44. Coy Ludeman getting his name called over the loudspeaker. You know, Coy is such an interesting player for this team. His first love is rodeo. He really, not to say that he doesn't love the game of football. I think he, much like Trevor Caldwell, just loves to be out there playing with his friends. He didn't really have the schedule over the summer with all of his rodeo action to get to all the summer workouts, but man, he plays hard, plays fast. One of those guys that Max Foth says he doesn't always have the right assignment, doesn't always have the best technique, but he is playing 110%. High snap, up the middle. Ball is loose and free on the turf, and Stanley County hops on top of it at the 50. Number 50 at the 50, right on cue. Coy Ludeman putting himself in the right place at the right time. Way to go, Cowboy. 3:07 left in the first half, and Coy Ludeman Well, I know he loves rodeo, but I think he loves hopping on top of loose balls like that.
Buffalo take over 1st and 10.
And Stanley County with their second straight drive getting a turnover. It was the errant snap on the punt the last time, and now the fumble by Odland this time around. And we'll see if Stanley County with 3:07 can add a few more points on the board. Timeout is taken by Max Foth and the Buffaloes. All of our timeouts are sponsored by AgTegra. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. We'll keep it right here. 36-0 Stanley County out in front. Here on homecoming night was a good day here around Fort Pierre. They had the homecoming parade. Here at the half, we'll have the homecoming ceremony. They had the big pep rally. And a couple of these younger guys hoping they can get in and make some plays. And I think in this game it's obviously been tough for the Redfield Pheasants to start this season going back to last season. They were held scoreless in 3 of their final 4 games. They scored 7 points against Florence Henry, but with that, it really makes you, and I'm sure Wade Schlatter, appreciative of the senior class. The guys that have decided to stick around, stay with him through these tough times. And, I'm sure in years from now, Redfield, as they continue to build up this program, will find success, and they'll look back at these seniors and these juniors and the guys that have looked at the face of adversity through these tough seasons and said, you know what, I'm going to stick around, I'm going to keep playing football because it's the right thing to do. And you just got to love kids like that. So really got to respect this Redfield Pheasant team. 1st and 10 here for Stanley County right at midfield. Prince bobbles the snap. Oh, we got a new quarterback in. And Ezra Rutherford with the carry as Bryant Zabe is now taking snaps for Stanley County. So the second string has come in here for the Buffaloes. No gain on that play for Rutherford. I think that snap caught Zabe a little bit by surprise. Got a couple new offensive linemen in as well. We'll update the players on the field. The up-tempo has slowed to a crawl here for Stanley County, not wanting to dump salt in the wound, obviously. Redfield, as we mentioned, will have 3 games at home. This is the end of a long road stretch as we've got a whistle and a false start here against Stanley County on the 2nd down and 10. It's going to feel good for this Pheasant squad to get back into the pheasant capital of the world in Redfield. Really enjoyed my trip up there last year. Very comfortable press box. Really nice, just a fun little stadium to call a game in. Nice town. 2nd down and 10, clock at 2:10 on left in this second quarter. They're going to hand this one off to Rutherford, coming here near side. Nice tackle made, coming downhill for the Pheasants. That was Derek Bogart coming across, showing off the speed and making the play. Seth Cronin still in. Snapping the ball now is Keaton Metzler for the Stanley County Buffaloes, a 5'8", 85-pound sophomore. Chase Hand lined up at that tight end position here, still calling in the plays from the sidelines. Even these second string guys with the wristbands got to know the plays, got to know the formations, got to know all the numbers and calls, and there might have been a little bit of miscommunication there as Max Foth will burn his 3rd and final timeout here in the first half. Timeouts are sponsored by AgTegra. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. And we're going to keep it right here because after that timeout, the side judge threw a flag walking away from that Redfield sideline. The timeout had been called. Both teams had started to make their way back to their respective sidelines, and walking from right at where that line of scrimmage and down markers being held, a flag came flying out. So we'll check the signal here from our head official. The only thing I could think of is they're going to say delay of game against Stanley County, but, well, they got the time off. Well, they're going to say that they didn't get the timeout off in time, so Max Foth should be able to hold on to that last timeout. They'll move them back 5 yards, so now the ball is at the Stanley County 40. Bit of confusing move there. Thought Max Foth got the timeout in time. We got another false start. This time it's going to go against Joe Malm. Joe Malm's been having a good day, but that false start will move him back 5 yards further. So now it'll be a 3rd and 25 from the Stanley County 35. Ball on the left hash for the Buffaloes. Third down and 25. They've got to get to the opposing 40, the plus 40 of the Pheasants if they want to get a new set of downs. 1:19 on the clock. Clock begins to run. Snap, fakes the handoff, going to throw a bubble screen after the play action to the far side. Catch is made, crossing the 40 and down to the 45 is Jack Deal. Sophomore making a nice catch and a nice move, but he had to travel a mile to get the first down, so it'll bring out the punting unit for Stanley County. And we've got a timeout taken by the Pheasants. So we'll take this timeout with them. We'll get everything set up here. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this AgTegra break. You're listening live on KGFX.
Electric is your neighborhood electrical service contractor, and so much more. No job is too big or too small for our team of professionals. We pride ourselves on keeping up with new technologies, such as Aerial, an augmented reality visual tool used to customize and experience a finished space before breaking ground. So whether you're building new or renovating a home, farm, or commercial space, let John Hoffman Electric light the way. John Hoffman is a proud sponsor of all local activities broadcast on Live Ticket TV.
Can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. We're winding down this first half of play. Stanley County leading 36-0. Punting unit coming out on the 4th and 15. Paxton Deal will be the one to boot it away. Stanley County scored on their first play from scrimmage, a 62-yard pass from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell. And they were off and running from there. We'll recap all the first half scoring for you in our CHS River Plains halftime show. Paxton Deal calls for the snap, punts it away. A beautiful spiraling kick works its way through the night Fort Pierce sky. Brendan Bothwell wraps up the return man, Connor Zenz, and takes him down. Modest return of a couple yards sets up Redfield at their own 30-yard line. They've got 55 seconds to drive down the field and punch one in the end zone. They will get the ball to start the second half. Starting unit still out there for Redfield. A couple new players out on the defense, but for the most part, still starters for Stanley County on that defensive side of the ball. And we've got another whistle, and the official pleading for the play clock to be reset. Odlin will go under center, stacked 3 receivers off to the left side, 1 man in motion from left to right. And a play action fake, but Odlin tripped over his center. And boy, that might have been a scoring play. They had not Noah Johnson, it was Grady Holscher on a wheel route here to the near side, and it looked like he had all sorts of separation. It's one of those that Holscher and Odlin will go back and watch on film together and say, man, see the route I was running, how much room I was going to have. All you needed to do was throw it up in the air, but the turf monster might have got him. Back to the I formation go the Pheasants. 2nd down and 15. It was a loss of 5. They're going to hand this one off. Up the middle goes Connor Zenz. He'll be twirled down after a 6-yard gain. That'll bring up 3rd down. But they look like they won't get enough time to snap one more here before the end of the half. They will walk to the sidelines and will head to the CHS River Plains halftime show with Stanley County leading here on homecoming night 36-0. We'll be back after this short break. We'll take a look at some scores from around the state, recap this first half of action, and look ahead to the second half. You're listening to high school football coverage live on KGFX and streaming live on drgnews.com.
Agriculture is like no other business.
which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
WindCircle, operating since 1995. We combine quality customer service and experience with the right technology to meet your needs. Our cybersecurity certified technicians will make sure your systems are secure. Services offered are video and data cabling, service and support contracts, cutting-edge camera systems to door security devices. WindCircle has many hardware options: Dell, HP, Cisco, SonicWall, and Ruckus, to name a few. Our staff has over 30 years of combined network design and cabling experience at your disposal. Call us today, 605-224-1111, and request a free quote. Again, that's 605-224-1111.
Explore the 2023 Lincoln Navigator at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Every time you approach your Lincoln, you'll receive a re-carpet welcome. Twin turbocharged 3.5 V6 engine with auto start-stop technology. You'll travel confidently with technology that meets all your needs. Now you can get the 2023 Navigator for 5.9% at 72 months. Stop in to see the full vehicle lineup at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Capital City Ford in Pierce, South Dakota.
No need to be afraid of all those upcoming holiday expenses. Oahe Federal Credit Union's holiday loan special is back. Borrow up to $1,500 for 12 months at 7% APR. Apply online or stop in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre. Oahe Federal Credit Union, where we treat you like you own the place, because you do.
People helping people. Oahe Federal Credit Union.
CoreCares helps individuals stay at home by offering caregiving, nursing, and medical alert systems in over 55 communities in South Dakota. Specializing in tasks like bathing, meal prep, and medication setups, our well-trained staff delivers exceptional care. We invest in our team through customized training and comprehensive benefits. To learn more about job opportunities or services, visit our website at corecares.com. CoreCares, proudly serving our community.
That moment when you realize your furnace is stone cold busted. We're talking a real put on every sweater you own, I can't feel my feet, penguin predicament. But fear not, there's an expert for that.
Let your local heating experts at Pites Service Experts keep you warm with $50 off any furnace repair.
Like it toasty? There's an expert for that.
Call Pites Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. American Bank and Trust.
One way American Bank and Trust enjoys giving back to the Fort Pierre community is through our Spirit Card program. These cards are a great way to give back to our schools and show hometown pride. Call or stop in today to get your own Spirit Card. Go Buffaloes!
Do you want to join one of the oldest established organizations in Fort Pierre? Perhaps you are more interested in protecting the future. Whatever your position, the Fort Pierre Volunteer Fire Department is for you. We are responsible for fire protection in Fort Pierre and Stanley County. Become part of this amazing team by stopping down at the fire hall and discussing enrollment. We are not just limited to adults, as we have a new cadet program for students ages 14 to 18. For more information, click on our banner ad on the homepage. From everyone at the fire hall, go Buffs!
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS. Do you have
And we'll get to the scoring here in a minute. The homecoming festivities are taking place down on the field. See a couple of the Buffaloes, Landon Mame and Paxton Deal, part of the homecoming committee squad, or I guess they were getting voted on. We're in the running for homecoming king, but kid who's having a big night is, well, having an even bigger night now, as Coy Ludeman was named the homecoming king for Stanley County. Brecken Hubner was named the homecoming queen. They got to take their pictures down on the field. And if that wasn't enough for Coy Ludeman, well, it's also his birthday tonight, and he's playing himself a pretty good game down there on the field for Stanley County. Let's take a look at the scores through the first half for Stanley County. As we mentioned, it got started on the first play of the game. 62-yard bomb from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell. Make it 6-0. They would not score the 2-point conversion, but Landon Bame would punch in a 48-yard scamper. He broke a couple tackles. He juked a couple Pheasants out of their shoes down there at about the 30-yard line, and once he broke free, there was nobody going to catch him. 48 yards officially on the score. Weston Prince would punch in the 2-point conversion to make it 14-0. Joe Malm would catch a 23-yard touchdown pass, and Weston Prince would run one in from 8 yards out, and then after the missed snap on the punt for Redfield, Grady Holscher would chase it down, jump on top of it for the Pheasants, but it would be all the way back at their own 1-yard line. Landon Bame would take it in himself, and it would be 36-0 after the first half of play. Will be a running clock, and I think Stanley County will definitely take the opportunity to get some younger guys in. But Redfield, they have stood pretty strong. It's just been some turnovers that have done them in the first half. The other thing was Stanley County was getting a lot of pressure from their front four. They were getting pressure off both sides. Landon Bame, Joe Malm, Jace Hand, a couple of those guys that were crashing the party in the backfield. Couple sacks for Stanley County. By my count, they've had 4 in this first half, and it's made it pretty hard and pretty difficult for Redfield to get any sort of semblance of a passing game going. It's been pressure upon pressure. It's been tough running for Connor Zenz. For the most part, he looks like he's got a head of steam when he's trucking downhill, and he's just a barreling ball of weight coming through. But you got guys like Case Colda on the other end laying the wood that have limited Connor Zenz, a really good running back, to some short gains. It's been an all-around great night for Stanley County defensively, and their offense has looked pretty good too, if I do say so myself. Let's take a look around the state at some scores. We'll take another break, and then we'll look forward to the second half of play here in this extended halftime break with the homecoming festivities taking place. Sully Buttes currently leading Hitchcock-Tulare by a score of 22-0 out of the half. Garrettson beating Canastota 13-6. Del Rapids St. Mary shutting out Coleman Egan 28-0. Timberlake leading Faith 31-0 at the end of the first half. Burke is leading Sunshine Bible Academy 35-8 at halftime. Sioux Falls Lutheran taking care of Arlington 41-0. And if this reads correctly, they scored all 41 of those points in the first quarter. Lyman is leading Jones County 34-8 at half. Faulkton area over Warner 14-10. Avon over Corsica Stickney 22-8. 2 minutes left in the second quarter there. On KMLO, Harrod Selby area shutting out Lemon McIntosh 34-0. Ipswich is blanking Northwestern 48-0 midway through the second quarter. Kadoka area and Bennett County still scoreless with 1 minute left in the first quarter. 9A, Platte Geddes is leading Kimball White Lake in a close one, 16-14. Hill City is leading Harding County 21-0. Leola Frederick area leading North Central 26-8. That was a 2-point game at one point earlier on in the first half, but they're at halftime there. Faulkton area leading Warner 14-10. Howard is leading Chester area 39-0. Waverly South Shore over Wabash Summit 20-8. Wall leading New Underwood 20-0. Parkston in a close one with Hanson 8-6 as they have just gotten their second half underway. Garrettson, as we mentioned, leading Canastota 13-6. And, of course, here on the Wegner Auto scoreboard, Stanley County leading Redfield 36-0. Up to 11-man football, Mobridge Pollock blanked Aberdeen Roncalli on Star 99 earlier tonight. 50-0 the final score there. Parker leading Baltic 10-0. Millbank is leading Groton area 13-0. Hot Springs leading Lead Deadwood 13-6 at the half. Duel out in front of Flandreau 14-7. Wagner leading Mount Vernon Plankinton 14-0 midway through the third quarter. Bridgewater Emory tied with Beresford 14 apiece. Clark Willow Lake over Sioux Valley midway through the third quarter 12-8 there. Miller Highmore Herald tied with Chamberlain on KPLO. Good one working in that game. West Central over McCook Central Montrose at halftime, 21-0. From 11A, Madison leading beat Custer 43-0. Del Rapids leading Rapid City Christian 43-8. Millbank over Groton Area 13-0. Sioux Falls Christian leads Lennox 10-0. Canton is tied with Vermilion midway through the third quarter, 7 apiece. And Dakota Valley is going to take care of Lakota Tech 58-0. That one will be over at the half. Pierce seems to have gotten things back on the right track. They're at half leading 21-7 over Watertown. Huron took care of T-Area 16-0, the final score there. Brookings is leading Aberdeen Central in a defensive battle 7-0 at the half. Yankton will beat Douglas 56-0. Up to 11 AAA. Couple games going there. Sioux Falls Lincoln took care of Sioux Falls Roosevelt 55-7. And Sioux Falls Jefferson is beating Sioux Falls Washington as that second quarter just got underway. That score is 6-0. Well, we will get all of those final scores for you on drgnews.com at the local sports page once everything goes final and all of the games are in. And you can also get some game recaps on the local sports page there as well on drgnews.com. We're going to step away for another break. When we come back, we'll look ahead to the second half here in the extended halftime break for homecoming. You're listening to the CHS River Plains Halftime Show on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
Best problem?
Advertising can be a struggle. Where to spend your money? Are you reaching the right audience? If you are looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your team or reach the region and state. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Todd Sandel today and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV. Allied Plumbing and Heating is your contact for business, farm, commercial, and residential plumbing needs located in Pierre. No job is too big or small for Allied. Put our over 50 years of experience to work for you. At Allied Plumbing and Heating, the only surprise we want for our customers is how fast they get the job done. That's why we offer free estimates on every single service, no hidden charges. Give them a call today at Allied Plumbing and Heating. Remember, you can rely on your allies.
Whether you are pregnant or planning ahead, you and your baby deserve a healthy start. We offer a wide range of services such as advocacy, health screenings and education, care coordination and car seat safety, participant empowerment, referral services, and fatherhood support. To learn more about Great Plains Healthy Start, visit greatplainstravelhealth.org or call one of our 5 service areas today. Brought to you by Great Plains Healthy Start, so that the people may live.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Looking for top-notch printing services? Choose Preferred Printing, your South Dakota union printer. We provide mailing services, create banners, vehicle decals, stationery and business forms, event materials including specialty items, apparel, and more. Our skilled team brings your vision to life with exceptional quality and attention to detail. And as a locally veteran-owned shop, we're dedicated to serving our community. Experience the difference with Preferred Printing. Visit us at preferredsd.com or call 605-333-0535 today.
Service Master of Pierre is your go-to service experts for a wide variety of cleaning needs. Since 2003, we have developed the most effective methods and products to service virtually every type of industry. We're known for our exceptional carpet and upholstery cleaning, but did you know we also offer cleaning of all types of flooring, along with providing fire and water restoration, commercial cleaning, janitorial services, and construction cleanup. Service Master of Pierre is a proud sponsor of TF Riggs Governors and Lady Govs, as well as Stanley County Buffaloes and Lady Buffs activities.
Graham Tire of Pierre is your premier hometown shop, specializing in tires to fit vehicles, from ATVs to large farm equipment and everything in between. At your tire store next door, you can find a plethora of brand name tires that range from 4 to 10 ply and much more. Our highly skilled technicians can handle brakes, heating, and air conditioning. Call us today at 224-8643 or visit us at grahamtire.com. Graham Tire is a proud sponsor of Pierre and surrounding communities' local activities.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Dano's Marine.
Chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluations for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports visits. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health, Fort Pierre, assuring access to quality health care.
Welcome back into the CHS River Plains halftime show. I'm Justin Cowart as we are about 2 minutes away from kicking off this second half. 36-0 lead here for the Stanley County Buffaloes. What a first half it was. Recapping the scoring for you real quick. Game started on the first play for Stanley County with a 62-yard pass to Brendan Bothwell for a touchdown. Landon Bame would scamper in from 48 yards out. Weston Prince would convert the two-point conversion. 23-yard catch for Joe Malm on the third touchdown of the game. 8-yard scamper from Weston Prince as he punched it in for the touchdown. And Landon Bame, after the turnover on the punt, would get the 1-yard touchdown run and get them to 36-0. I imagine we'll see some new names for Stanley County here in this second half. It will be a running clock, so there will not be as much time for some of these guys to get some in-game experience, but it's never a bad time to get some of your second-string guys in, and I can't wait to talk to Max Foth this week if they should hold on and get the victory here, which it looks like they might be able to do. Get to see who's going to be the guy to step up from the special teams unit and be playing on the starting side next week. For Redfield, I think you need to maybe, seeing some different offensive looks out of this team throughout the season on film. Maybe try to go to some of those different things, but it's been very tough to get anything going offensively as the Stanley County defensive line has been bearing down on quarterback Chase Odland pretty much all night long. It's been a pretty good night for Stanley County both offensively and defensively. I think if you're Redfield, you can say try to get the ball downfield, maybe try some underneath routes. We haven't seen Odland in the shotgun too often. We've seen their quarterbacking core in the shotgun a little bit throughout the season, so maybe drop those guys back in the shotgun, give them a little bit more time to throw the ball downfield. Redfield will get the ball to start the second half here. I want to give a big thanks to CHS River Plains for sponsoring our halftime show. We'll have the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show coming up here in maybe a little bit over half an hour with the running clock. That games will end if a team is winning by 50 in the second half. You don't want to see that, especially on homecoming night. You want to see these guys being able to play as much football as possible. You only get so many games, especially here at Ole Williamson Field, the final home game of the season for Stanley County. That is, of course, if they do not host a playoff game, which is certainly a goal of Max Foth and this coaching staff. And if they can hang on here, they are certainly on their way to getting to the record that they need, getting to the placement that they need in the standings. Get the win here, they will move to 2-2 on the season. Trevor Caldwell out to boot this one away. Third quarter about to get underway right here on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com, and a packed house here at Ole Williamson Field as Caldwell kicks. The second half is underway. One bounce right into the hands of Chase Odland. Odland across the 30 and taken down at the 32. Tackle is made there by Bryant Zabe. A good start for the Stanley County special teams. You know what? for all the folks that listen in every Friday night, I'm going to write down a name of the guy I think on special teams that has played well enough here this evening to get that start next week. And I'll be sure to remind you next week in the pregame show or whenever I get the starting lineups from Coach Max Foth if I was right. I've got an inkling, but we'll see. Redfield will start under center with the I formation. Odlin will turn and hand this one off. It's Connor Zenz. He bounces off the back of one offensive lineman and a tackler escaping an arm tackle, but he won't get back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like the loss of about a half a yard. Joe Malm and Landon Bame in on the tackle. Talk about a night. Been a good night for Landon Bame. Running the ball especially. He's made some good plays on defense. Crashed the party in the backfield. Good for a half sack here tonight. Joe Malm also having a nice night himself. 2nd down and 11. Turn handoff to Zenz again. He's going to carry a tackler across the 30. Only problem is the 30 was in the backfield. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Seth Cronin bursted through the line. Had the first touch there on Connor Zenz. And now Redfield, what do they do on 3rd and 10? Don't necessarily think, I mean, you're down 36 points. Probably in 4-down territory pretty much everywhere on the field. But you get kind of sick. I'm going to go for a 4th and 10 inside your own territory. Dropping back to passes, Odlin under pressure. He's going to go down for the sack. There's a flag down on the far side, numbers at the 30. And they're gesturing face mask. The question is, who committed it? If it's against Stanley County, it'll be a free 1st down because of a personal foul. And it will be. That's the signal. So Redfield's going to get the 1st down via face mask. Well, I've never seen a 5-yard face mask before. And I think everybody up here in the booth is shaking their head. Normally it's a 15 yards and a free 1st down, but it's 3rd and 9 for Redfield. They've got a stacked backfield, 3 stacked receivers to the right in the slot, 1 back. Odlin rolling out to his right, throwing on the move. He's got it to Bannister. Bannister makes one man miss. He's taken down at the Pheasant 49. And that's the connection they've been looking for all night. Good job by Odlin to roll out, keep composed, and he found a wide open Isaac Bannister running a flat crossing route just underneath the 45-yard line. Bannister made the catch and got himself upfield. It's 1st and 10 at midfield for Redfield. Ball on the right hash. Odlin has found some time to throw tonight, but a lot of his throws have just been off target thanks to the Stanley County pressure. That one was right on the money. Back to the I formation. Zenz the setback. Bannister the fullback. They're going to give it to Zenz up the middle, and he is met immediately. What a shot supplied by Ezra Rutherford. Man, it was like Connor Zenz ran right into a brick wall, and Ezra Rutherford laying the lumber. How fitting with our Bauman Lumber player of the game coming up in the post-game show. Ezra Rutherford laying a little Bauman lumber right there. That was a shot. That's just a guy in Ezra Rutherford. You've seen him carry the ball. He runs angry, and he tackles angry too, and that's really all you can ask for out of a guy that splits time between running back and linebacker like Rutherford. 2nd down and 8. Nobody in the backfield here for Odlin. He's going to fake the pass, run it himself. Got a little bit of daylight, and he's up the middle, and he'll pick up positive yardage. He'll come up about 3 yards short of the 1st down marker. Gets to the Stanley County 43. They've got to get to the Buffalo 40 for the 1st down. It'll bring 3rd down and short. And I can't imagine that it was preached in the locker room during the CHS River Plains halftime from Max Foth about protecting the shutout. In other sports, you don't normally get coach talk like that. Maybe you do more so in football. Come on, let's keep them scoreless. But it's certainly in the backs of a lot of folks' mind down there on that Buffalo sideline. They don't want Redfield to find the end zone. But Redfield is driving in Stanley County territory for the first time in this second half, and a flag down, and it'll be a delay of game against Chase Odland. So now a 3rd down and 3 turns into a more difficult 3rd down and 8. Redfield has shown ability here in the second half with that throw to Bannister that they can pick up some positive yardage when they need to. They just picked up a 3rd down and 8 their last time around after the face mask. See if the Pheasants can do it again. Ball now back at the Stanley County 48. Shaded over towards the right hash. Odland under center. Zenz behind him. You're going to throw the bubble screen. Beautiful catch by Connor Zenz behind his back at a turn and grabbed it with his right hand, a one-handed snag. It will only, I don't know if they even gained any yardage. They might have lost a yard, and it brings up 4th down and 9, but you think for Wade Schlatter, you almost have to go for it. Running clock already now down to 5:35 in this 3rd quarter. And we've got a whistle, and I believe we might have a timeout. So Redfield will take the Agtegra timeout. 5:28 to play, 4th and 9, coming up after this 30-second break on KGFX.
Fort Pier is your one-stop shop for all things boats and watercraft. They are your local Vexus and Alumacraft boat dealer. Some of the best boats on the water. Dano's also offers a full line of services to maintain your boat out of the water so you can enjoy more time on the water. Their certified technicians proudly service Yamaha, Mercury, and Everroot motors. Stop in today to visit about your next watercraft. Dano's Marine, proud sponsor of Pier and Fort Pier athletics and events.
The foundation for how we do.
Welcome back into the broadcast booth here at Ole Williamson Field. A good night to be a Buffalo Stanley County pride shown all throughout the stadium here. A lot of purple and gold. A lot of folks still sticking around. Had a good homecoming presentation at the half. And they're being treated to Stanley County on their way to their 2nd win of the season. 36-0 is the score on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Be sure to stick around for the Family Dental of Pier and Gettysburg post-game show, which will be here before we know it with the running clock. 4th and 9 here for Redfield. They want to piece together a comeback. It feels like they've got to have this. Under center, I formation is Odland. 2 linebackers, 5 up on the line for Stanley County. Pressure coming, Odland rolling, pressure to his back. He can't get away from it. It's Landon Bame again. Turnover on downs with a cherry on top. Landon Bame with his 2nd sack of the night. And Stanley County will get it back in Redfield territory. And with the Redfield Pheasants not taking their starters off the field, Stanley County had their 2nd stringers out to close out the first half, but the starting core is back out for the Buffaloes. Weston Prince taking snaps again. He's got Bothwell and Deal lined up to his left. Similar offset pistol formation in the backfield. Prince is going to hand it. Bame untouched past the line of scrimmage. Till untouched across the 30. And he's going to be just squeezes out of the pile. Man, I thought he was taken down, and then boom, a Landon Bame popped out on the other end. Looked like he was stopped at the 30. He kept the legs churning and ended up at the 20. And now we've got an injured Buffalo down on the field. Not looking good because I believe it's Bame, and he is rolling and writhing in pain. And the Avera medical staff is going to go out to check on him. Helmet is off. And that would be maybe the only blemish on the night for Stanley County would be an injury to their star running back, Landon Bame. We'll step away while they check on him. We'll be back after this.
At Avera Orthopedics, we're transforming pain into possibility every day. Whether you're chasing a personal best or simply want to enjoy life to the fullest, our specialized care is designed to help you feel better and stronger. We're here for you. No referral needed. Trust Avera Orthopedics to unlock a world of endless possibilities. Visit avera.org/orthopedics and start your journey from pain to possibility today.
Venture Communications is proud to sponsor high school sports and the surrounding communities by providing world-class service with a hometown touch. Venture Communications has been offering phone service since 1952. Today, Venture provides fiber-to-home service for 100% of their customers, which means super fast internet streaming of your favorite games and much more. Visit VentureCom with 2 M's, venturecom.net for more information or to pay your bill online.
Well, the bad news is turned to good news of sorts for the Buffaloes. Landon Bain was up and off under his own power. He'll be checked in by Whit Myers. Weston Prince throwing, and he's finding a wide-open Brendan Bothwell on the left side of the end zone on 1st and 10. Another touchdown throw from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell, this addition of 20 yards. And it's 42-0 Stanley County. And look who's coming back out onto the field. It's Landon Bain. Brendan Bothwell was left all by his lonesome there on that route to the left side. Weston Prince with all kind of time. That was a batting practice throw for Weston Prince. They're going to go for the 2-point conversion to make it 44-0. Prince, quarterback keep flag is down. He'll get in. We'll check the marker. And they're going to say too many men on the field for Stanley County, so that'll be a 5-yard penalty, and they'll have to either attempt a kick or try to score the 2-point conversion from 7 yards out. And now they're just going to not even let him. They're going to say because of the penalty, the 2-point try is no good. One of the more confusing rules. So it'll negate everything. Stanley County still leading 42-0 after the 20-yard touchdown pass from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell. That is Bothwell's second touchdown catch of the night. He scored on the first play of the game, 62 yards there, 20 yards on that one. And it was good to see Landon Bain back out onto the field for that 2-point try. I think Max Foth, the last thing that he wanted in a 36-0 game was to send his starters back out after he had already had the second string taking snaps at the end of the first half and have one of his key players in Landon Bain get injured. So I think maybe the biggest sigh of relief came from the Buffaloes head coach. 4:22 remaining here in the third quarter. Stanley County's defense on the last drive got the turnover on downs, and it was Landon Bain, that very man, who got the sack to get the turnover. Trevor Caldwell digs the football in for the kickoff. Connor Zenz back to return, as is Chase Odland for the Pheasants. They both stand at the 15-yard line. Caldwell looks left, looks right. And he boots it away, low line drive kick. It's going to be fielded by Odland at the 20. Cutting across the field, back towards his own sideline. Going to be dragged down at the 29-yard line. Ryder Roseland covering the tracks of Chase Odland. Roseland gets Odland for the tackle. And Redfield will start. We'll see where they mark him. They're going to say he was down at the Redfield 26. And Trevor Caldwell is hobbling off the field, but he was kind of making a joke about it, grabbing at his right leg. I think he might be cramping, and that was the question. There was a heat timeout earlier in the ball game, and some of those guys were getting hydrated. We saw a lot of cramping in the last 2 weeks, and now we've finally seen our first with 3:46 remaining in the third quarter. Max Foth calls the timeout. Looks like he's going to get a new couple Buffaloes in there. We'll be back after this 30-second Agtegra break on KGFX.
Business is right in our initials, W-E. We. Everything we do is a partnership. We understand solving the many complex challenges growers face every day takes teamwork. And when we succeed, we do it together. That's the power of we.
Lucky for us, life.
Out of the Agtegra timeout, acres ahead. Can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. We even had some hardware handed out during that homecoming festivity parade or, well, event, whatever you'd like to call it. And a gentleman from the Street Masters Car Club came up to claim his trophy for the best community float. I tell you, nobody does a parade, whatever it is, whether it be 4th of July, homecoming, like Fort Pierre. Always have so much fun getting involved in the 4th of July parade over here in Fort Pierre. Had game prep to do today. Couldn't get over for the homecoming parade, but sounded like a lot of fun. Pheasants back to work on offense. I formation up the middle. Breaking through is Connor Zenz. He'll finally be dragged down at the 39-yard line. Ryder Roseland gets in on the tackle there for Stanley County. First down on the first play of this drive for the Pheasants. Ball on the left hash, marked just inside the shadow of the Redfield 40. And for Wade Schlatter, he's going to be losing a lot of really important guys out of this senior class, but a lot of good young talent coming up. Connor Zenz, one of those seniors that will be departing after this season. As Odlin's going to fake the handoff, taking himself, rolling out on the bootleg to the left. We'll get some positive yards there. Picks up about 7. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3. Good news is he'll have one of his quarterbacks and Chase Odlin back next year, just a sophomore. And for just a sophomore, Chase Odlin looks pretty comfortable back there running that offense. Said it a bunch tonight, but they do have a couple different offensive formations and looks that they've thrown at teams throughout this season. Even had a couple different guys playing in at the quarterback position. Grady Holscher was playing quarterback earlier on this season. Odlin back under center. Going to turn Zenz off the right side, hanging on to the ball. Almost breaks free, but he's taken down at the Stanley County 42. That was Bryant Zabe on the tackle.
Zabe with the takedown.
And the Bryant Zabe fan section makes themselves heard. Jax Hofteaser is also checked in on the defensive side of the ball here for Stanley County. He's playing on the near side edge. Ezra Rutherford out there as well. Rutherford made a big hit on the last Redfield drive that you could hear through this big puffy headset of mine. 1st and 10 here for the Pheasants. Odlin with nobody behind him under center. Turns, bootlegs it off to the left. Going to cut it back in the cutback lane, and he's going to be wrapped up and taken down after a modest gain. Rutherford in on the tackle, as was Keaton Metzler.
Odlin with the keeper, Metzler with the tackle.
So I'm going to bring up 2nd down and about 6. They get it inside the 40 down to the Stanley County 38. So we creep up on a minute to play here. 70 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Redfield will break out of the huddle. Ball towards the middle of the field, favoring the left side. I formation. Bannister, then Zenz. 4-down lineman for the Buffaloes. They hand to Zenz, running off the right side. He's dragging a tackler, spinning and twirling across the 30-yard line. He's got enough for the 1st down. He'll get down inside the 30 to the 29. Joe Malm was in on the tackle for Stanley County. And they might be able to get one more play out before they got to flip sides and play this final quarter. Stanley County's defense has been stiff all night trying to get this stop here. They want to try to keep Redfield scoreless. 19 seconds to play. I formation again. Same formation here for the Pheasants. Odlin surveys. Squats under center. Takes the snap. It's Connor Zenz again. He is met immediately at the line. Ryder Roseland hit him first and then put his hands around his waist and just held on for dear life. Maybe a gain of a half of a yard, and that'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Stanley County sitting at 42-0 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard, trying to keep Redfield out of the end zone and keep this night perfect for their defense. We'll see if they can do it at the start of the 4th quarter after this break on KGFX.
When you need
choices, big and small, they define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business. Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance. Contact your local Farmers Union Insurance agent today.
When you're in the need for high-quality replacement auto parts, look no further than Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop in Pierre. Zander's has been servicing the Pierre area for over 40 years. Their professional parts techs can get you the part you need and get you back on the road. Stop by Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop at 500 West Sioux in Pierre or call 224-9221. Zander's, your source for domestic and foreign auto parts and accessories.
Grossenberg's Chopper Days promote.
So they flip and head to the north side of the field. It's the start of the fourth quarter. Stanley County out in front 42-0 here on homecoming night. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into the broadcast booth. Brian Menning on the camera tonight. Haley Hansen back in the studios as we are creeping up on the 9 o'clock hour here in Fort Pierre. Technically the 8 o'clock hour, but that's only at a few places here on Mountain Time that they operate. Second down and 10. Oldland going to fake the handoff, going to try to throw, and it's in and out of the hands of his receiver. Good coverage out there on the right side by Jack Deal. And we're trying to find the Oldland to Oldland connection there. Madden Oldland, the intended receiver on that play, ran a little flat crossing route. It was more good pressure by Stanley County. Jack's Hoff-teaser got in the face there of Chase Oldland. Forced a quick throw. It was a bit behind Madden Oldland. So it's third down and 10. I formation. Oldland takes the snap, hands to Zenz, trying to get to the outside. Breaks away from one tackler. Finally chopped down about 3 or 4 yards short of the first down line to gain marker. This will bring up fourth down. They're going to say he was down a little bit shorter than that. They need 5. Keaton Metzler makes the tackle there on the far side of the field. Ball now at the 24. Fourth down and 5. Stanley County looking for what would feel like one of their bigger stops of the evening. It's the first time Redfield has been this far inside Stanley County territory. Oldland takes the fourth down snap, rolling out. Man in his face, firing downfield, and it's intercepted at the goal line. Nice play there for Stanley County's secondary. Pass was intercepted by Jack Deal. And Jack Deal, a sophomore, making a big play. I think that this will be a true teaching moment for Jack Deal, who intercepted it at the 1. If he had just batted it down, Stanley County would have had it at their own 24. But again, when you're a guy who doesn't play much football and you see one coming your way, you want to get on the stat sheet. So a nice interception there for Jack Deal, and who knows, maybe this will set up a 99-yard drive for the Stanley County offense. Under 10 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Jack Deal chalks up another turnover for the Stanley County defense. They bend but don't break on that one. They keep this game scoreless for Redfield. And now the new offense will come in. They're going to hand it, looks like Ezra Rutherford breaking off the first tackle and getting from the 1-yard line to the 5-yard line. First contact was made there inside the purple turf of the end zone. But Rutherford, as we mentioned earlier, always running strong, keeps his legs churning. And he picks up a gain of about 5 yards. That'll set up second down and a long 5. But they create a little bit of breathing room from that goal line. Second down and 5. They're going to run it here to the near side. Brian Zabe breaking a tackle, making a shifty move at the 15. Getting blockers out in front of him. He's across the 40, cutting it back. Finally taken down inside Redfield territory at the 46-yard line. What a run from the junior Brian Zabe. He takes it from the 5 across the 50 down to the 46-yard line of Redfield. What a run by Zabe, and he made a couple nifty moves there to break away from a couple Pheasant tacklers. And Brian Zabe, a wise move. Once he kind of got into open field, he slowed down, let his blockers get out in front of him, and I think that picked him up an extra 25 yards or so. He let the cavalry come and get in front. He just followed in suit. First down and 10 inside Pheasant territory. Ball at the 46.5. High snap over the head of Zabe. He's going to have to track it down past his own 40 and hop on top of it at the 36. So that went from a great pickup and a great play now to a big chunk of yardage lost. They went from inside Pheasant territory back inside their own 40 down just past the 35. So they'll bring up second down and a long 21. More like second down and 24. Zabe with the offset pistol look again. Two receivers to his left. They're going to run the option to the left. Zabe's going to keep it himself. Got another lane across the 45. Not as effective on this one, but he gets a lot of that lost yardage back up. He gets about 2 yards, 3 yards shy of the midfield mark. It'll bring up third down and long.
Third and long for the Buffaloes.
Time winding away as we are now under 7 minutes to play as we cross the 9 o'clock hour. Ball on the left hash. Got to get to the Redfield 36.5 to pick up the first down. See what play call that Max Foth goes with. He wants Zabe to pass it. Zabe with plenty of time, firing over the middle, looking for his man, and it's deflected away. A nice play in coverage by Grady Holscher.
Zabe's pass intended for Deal.
He was looking for Jack Deal on the post route over the middle, and that'll bring out the punting unit. So one of the first ineffective drives offensively here for the Buffaloes tonight, but they still saw some good things out of Bryant Zabe. They'll send Chase Odland back to return the punt. Paxton Deal back out to kick it away for Stanley County. All around, been a good night for the Buffaloes. I think Max Foth will have a lot of positives to take away from this game field when they watch it ahead of their matchup in the upcoming week when they go on the road to take on Gregory. Flag is down. It'll be a delay game. Punting unit took a little bit too long to get out there, but at this point, I don't think Max Foth is too worried about field position. Paxton Deal ready to punt. Kicks it away. Low end-over-end kick. Going to bounce at the 26. Odland watches it roll, taking a Buffalo bounce, and finally comes to rest at the Redfield 16-yard line. Clock continues to run. 5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. We'll see if Redfield can find a little something, a little spark to carry some confidence out of this matchup. They will take on Wabash Summit next week. They'll be back at home for 3. Wabash Summit, then Hamlin on the 26th, and then to kick off October on the 3rd, they'll host Warner. They will close out the season on the road against Florence Henry. For Stanley County, they go on the road to Gregory next week. It was a game that Stanley County lost here 44-16 at home last year. They will stay on the road on the 26th, traveling out to Wall. 41-6 loss last year for Stanley County. They'll finish up the season on the road at Kimball White Lake and close it out at Gettysburg on October 17th. We'll have all of those games for you on KGFX. We've got some coverage tomorrow. Some volleyball matchups. Stay tuned to drgnews.com at the local sports page, not only for our broadcast schedule, but we'll also have all the final scores from tonight's action across the state for you. Here at Ole Williamson Field, nobody's left. Everybody enjoying this impending win for the Buffaloes. 5:03 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Starting unit still out on the field for the Pheasants. Chase Odland will start with the I formation back behind him. Stanley County with 3 down linemen, 1 floater on the far side. Ryder Roseland also showing blitz on the near side. They're going to run with Connor Zenz. Zenz carrying a tackler. That's Ezra Rutherford, who wraps him up and drags him down across the 20 down to the 22. Also checking into the game here for Stanley County is Kyler Gabriel, a freshman. Another sub coming in from the Buffalo sideline. Phillip Green will get a couple snaps here on defense. That nose tackle position, still Keaton Metzler. 2nd down and 4 after that 6-yard carry by Connor Zenz. Odlin turns, now running to the right side. Zenz has got a hole and he's got a blocker. Across the 35, tripped up at the 37. Tackle was made there on the back end by Jack Deal. And Deal might have saved a touchdown. Might have saved the first Pheasant touchdown of the evening. Nice shoestring tackle. Jacob Meyer will check into the ball game for the Stanley County Buffaloes. It's like Tyron Jacobson has also checked in on the near side edge for Stanley County. 3:40 to play here in the 4th. 1st and 10 for the Pheasants. I formation. Odlin going to hand to Connor Zenz. Still toting the rock tough. Tackle is made there by Keaton Metzler.
Zenz with the carry, tackled by Metzler.
Tell you what, you got to appreciate the way that Connor Zenz is carrying the football right now for Redfield. You know, you would think that a team in this position might trot out some other guys, but it's not a real deep sideline for the Pheasants. You got a lot of guys that play both ways. There's not really a platooning offense you could check in. 2nd and 7 here for Redfield. Zen's going to carry it again, this time to the left side. Wrapping him up and taking a ride is
Zenz with the carry, brought down
Keaton
by
Metzler. He makes the tackle. It'll be close to the 1st down yardage. I think they've got it. They're taking a look. Nobody's moved just yet. They mark him. They're going to say he's just short, and it is right in line with us. We're set up at the 47-yard line here. I mean, this ball could not be more perfectly down our line of vision. Looks like they've got the 1st down, but it'll be 3rd and 1, says our referee crew. I formation, play action fake. Odlin rolling out to his right, looking downfield. Has it if he wants to run, but throws one deep. Got a man, and it's through the hands of his intended receiver, Grady Holscher. He had it at the 10-yard line. A perfect throw from Chase Odlin on the move. You couldn't have placed it any better if you tried. Hey, Grady Holscher is going to want that one back. It'll bring up 4th and 1 as we're under 2 minutes to play. And I think Redfield obviously going to keep the offense out here. Man, that was a beautiful ball from Chase Odlin. Best throw we've seen out of him tonight. And a difficult one at that. Rolling out to your right. It is his strong arm side, but man, he threw it about 50 yards downfield. 4th and 1. They're going to turn and hand to Zenz. Zenz has got the 1st down, and he's going to be tracked down and dropped at the Stanley County 41.
Zenz with the carry,
Zenz with a nice full head of steam.
brought down by Gabriel.
Kyler Gabriel, the freshman, makes the tackle on the back end, showing some good hustle there to track down Connor Zenz. And, you know, you give Connor Zenz a lot of credit, but also give Isaac Bannister, their fullback, a lot of credit. He has been walking as hard as Connor Zenz has been running in this 42-0 blowout. Under a minute to play. Zenz alone in the backfield. Odlin's going to take it himself on the naked bootleg to the right. He's got a little bit of a lane, cuts back, just barely tripped up by the shoestrings at the 25-yard line.
Odlin with the carry, tripped up by Deal.
That was Jack Deal making the touchdown-saving tackle. 1st down and 10, ball at the 22. And Redfield's going to take a timeout with 41 seconds left. They want to talk it over, and, well, they just want to get on this Wegner Auto scoreboard. We'll take a 30-second Ag Tegra break. We'll come back with the final 41 here on KGFX.
is back. The entire month of February, Grossenberg Implement is offering 10% discount on common wear parts for self-propelled 4-H harvesters. These savings are for higher volume wear parts for 4-H harvesters and heads like feeding, cutting, kernel processor, blower, auger, and spout parts. Now is a great time to make sure your 4-H harvester is ready to go when you need it and save 10% on the parts during the month of February at any of Grossenberg's 9 locations.
This is what matters.
41 seconds to play. Stanley County on their way to their second win of the season. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into the broadcast booth. We're about a minute away from our Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. Stick around for some final scores. We'll recap this game, let you know how all the scoring went for Stanley County and maybe for Redfield should they punch it in here in the final minute of this ball game. Ball sits at the Stanley County 22. Redfield called their second timeout of the second half to try and get situated here. Come up with the perfect play call. They've got that 3-receiver stack off to the left. Odlin under center on the right hash. Odlin with a quick pass. It's high, but caught by his intended receiver, Grady Holscher. Holscher trying to get a couple blocks. He's dragged down at the 8-yard line. And another timeout taken by the Pheasants and Wade Schlaughter. He really wants this touchdown. That's his third and final timeout. 32 seconds on the clock. And we'll give our sponsors one more final read before this game is over. Agtegra sponsors the timeout. Acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Here's a quick 30-second word before the final couple plays.
This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Whether you're pregnant or planning.
You understand that. 32 seconds remain here in the ball game. Stanley County is going to move to 2-2. Redfield will fall to 0-4 on the season. But Wade Schlaughter just wants his team to have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of momentum exiting Fort Pierre here tonight. So he wants to find 6 points here. Best drive of the night being put together for the Pheasants. First and goal. Odlin going to roll out to the right. Trying to win a foot race to the corner. He's going to be dropped just short. What a tackle made on the edge there by Jack Deal. How about that effort from Jack Deal? And now the Pheasants run their own version of the hurry-up offense. Ball at the 1-yard line on the right hash. Quick play call up to the line. 10 seconds to go. Could be the final play. I formation, they turn and hand to Zenz, and Zenz is in for the touchdown, and the shutout is no more, as with 5 seconds to play, it's 42-6 Pheasants. So Redfield exhausted all of their timeouts on that final drive, just wanted to find themselves on the Wegner Auto scoreboard, and they've done just that. Connor Zenz with the 1-yard touchdown scamper for the Pheasants. They'll break from the huddle and will go for 2 to make it 42-8. Single back set. Odlin going to go under center. 3 receivers stacked off to the left. Snap, throw, rolling to the left, and just a bit short is Isaac Bannister. And the 2-point conversion will be no good. So Stanley County will just get the ball back. They can field the kick and run out the time that way.
Once again, Buffalo fans, for the next 2 weeks,
Stanley County, barring a touchdown one way or the other on this kick, will win this one 42-6. And building up some momentum. That is what Max Foth talked about. He said, you know what, after that win, practice feels a lot different at 1-2 versus 0-3. A newfound energy and a lot of momentum, especially with this new huddle offense, the up-tempo scheme that they've implemented here this season. And it has certainly worked these past 2 weeks. Heck, it really worked in the first quarter of that Hill City game. Remember, Stanley County was leading 24-21 at one point in the first half in their first game of the season. It was turnovers that did them in there. They have protected the ball beautifully tonight. A couple turnovers last week, but it never ended up biting them. And we'll see if Redfield, who is kicking off for just the second time this evening, they tried a pseudo onside kick the last time, did Jackson Rude. We'll see what they do here. Rude approaches. It's that same onside kick motion, and it's going to be covered up by 3 Buffaloes. And with 2 seconds, 1 second, zeros on the clock, and Stanley County is victorious. Final score on our Wegner Auto scoreboard, 42-6. Stanley County gets the win and improves to 2-2 on the season. The Pheasants fall to 0-4. We'll recap all of it for you, take a look at some scores around the league, and get you out of here and into the weekend on this Friday night. We'll be back with the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show on KGFX and DRGnews.com right after this.
Dr. Ryan and his team at Family Dental in Pierre and Gettysburg would like to thank their wonderful patients for allowing us to treat their whole family, from infants to elders and everyone in between, including routine dental care, same-day crowns and bridges, implants, and many more procedures. We are excited that soon we'll be able to offer IV sedation. We are excited for what the future will bring. Call 224-7774 to schedule an appointment today. Again, thank you to all our wonderful patients.
There's an app for everything, including high school sports, from the stations of DRG Media Group. Download the DRG News app from the App Store or Google Play. It takes only a moment, so you'll have it to replay this game. See live and archive video of all games, and when you select your favorite station during the live stream, the video will immediately pop up. See Central South Dakota High School sports on your phone or mobile device with the DRG News app. Download it now from the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome into the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. The Heart of the Buffalo Award handed to running back for Redfield Pheasants, Connor Zenz. Well-deserved. He ran hard all night, even down to the last couple seconds when he scored a 1-yard touchdown to get the Pheasants on the board, but they would fall 42-6, our final score from our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart. What a fun night it was here on homecoming for the Buffaloes as they go converse in the end zone on the south side of the field. Redfield exits the north side as they have a quick conversation themselves. It was a great night of offense for Stanley County, and it started on the very first play. A 62-yard touchdown pass from Weston Prince to Brendan Bothwell would get Stanley County on the board and out in front 6-0. And then follow that up with a 48-yard touchdown run from Landon Bain, the second play of that drive. And before you knew it, after the 2-point conversion, 3 offensive plays, and Stanley County was leading 14-0. Joe Malm, who got elevated to the offensive starting position tonight, caught a 23-yard touchdown pass to further the Stanley County lead to 22-0. An 8-yard touchdown run by Weston Prince, then a errant punt snap on the special teams side for Redfield would set Stanley County up on the doorstep. At the 1-yard line, Landon Bain would punch it in on the very next play. The final score of the night was a 20-yard Brendan Bothwell catch from Weston Prince that looked like they were just running practice routes before the game. It was a great night of route trees for Max Foth and his offense, and great offensive production for Stanley County. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention that 1-yard touchdown run with 5 seconds left in the ball game for Connor Zenz to get the Redfield Pheasants on the board, but final score 42-6. Let's take a look around the league at some final scores here tonight, as surely there are still some games going on, but we mentioned that Sioux Falls Lincoln took down Roosevelt 55-7. Sioux Falls Jefferson leading Washington 13-0 as that fourth quarter gets underway. Pierre is going to move to 2-1 on the season. They're beating Watertown 41-13 midway through the fourth quarter. Huron beat T-Area 16-0. Close one between Aberdeen and Brookings, 10-7 is that score. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Aberdeen Central with the ball. Yankton beating Douglas 63-0. And that completes that 11 AA from 11 single A. Madison beat Custer 43-0. Del Rapids over Rapid City Christian 43-8. Millbank over Groton area 19-0 in the fourth quarter. Sioux Falls Christian leading Lennox 17-0 in the fourth. Canton beat Vermilion 19-14. West Central over McCook Central Montrose 28-6. From the 9-man football, Parkston beat Hanson in a close one, 16-6. Platte Geddes in a tight one with Kimball White Lake, 22-20. Platte Geddes leads that one with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Leola Frederick area looking like they're going to get the win over North Central, barring a miracle comeback. 34-14. Leola Frederick leads that halfway through the third. Hill City beating Harding County 31-0. Hamlin beat Great Plains Lutheran 48-0. Bonham is beating Stanley County's next week opponent, Gregory, 49-18. Britton Hecla beat Florence Henry 53-0. Wall shutting out New Underwood 47-0. Kadoka area leading Bennett County by 2 scores, 16-0 in the third. Timberlake beat Faith 45-6. Dupree over Gettysburg 30-0. Lyman beat Jones County 48-6. Warner beat Faulkton area in a close one at 17-14. And Sully Buttes is beating Hitchcock Tulare 52-12. And we'll remind you folks, we'll have all the final scores for you from all the games around the state once they all go final on the local sports page at drgnews.com. The South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you to text or drive. There is no and. You've got some place to be. Now it's time to hand out our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game t-shirts. So many candidates that are in the running for this that definitely deserve this Bauman Lumber Player of the Game t-shirt, but I've only got one, so it's decision time for me. We're going to take 30 seconds and hear a word from Bauman Lumber while I come up with our Player of the Game.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre. Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
And our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game tonight could have gone to a lot of different folks, a lot of deserving players out there. Brendan Bothwell exploding onto the scene this week with a 62-yard touchdown. He also caught a 20-yard touchdown bomb late in the ballgame. Weston Prince played outstanding, but, Bothwell got one earlier in the season. He finally got his shirt delivered to him. Weston Prince is surely going to have one up coming here in the later part of the season. But a guy who got elevated to the starting role tonight on offense, also caught a touchdown pass, was Joe Malm. He made the absolute most of his starting opportunity tonight. He got himself on the stat sheet with a touchdown, blocked, made a couple great plays, and also made a couple great plays on defense. He is tonight's Bauman Lumber Player of the Game. Congratulations to Joe Malm. We also want to give a shout out to a couple other guys that played really well, including a guy who got called up as well, Coy Ludeman. This kid just loves rodeo. That's his first love. But he wants to play hard, and he played extremely hard tonight, made a couple big hits, as did Ezra Rutherford. So like I said, a lot of deserving guys, but the guy who made the most of his opportunity tonight was Joe Malm, and he is our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game. So congratulations to Joe Malm. I'll be sure to get down and get him that t-shirt tonight so I'm not holding on to it, so he can start wearing it around town. Big thanks to Bauman Lumber for also being our sports video sponsor, and for all of our great sponsors here tonight. At Venture Communications, our KGFX sports sponsor, and you're going to hear a word from all of our great sponsors here shortly. One final time from our Wegner Auto scoreboard, Stanley County gets the win 42-6. They will take on Gregory next week. We'll have that coverage for you right here on KGFX beginning just after 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock. For Haley Hansen back in the DRG Media Group World Headquarters, for Brian Menning, I'm Justin Cowart saying so long on this Friday evening. Have a great weekend, and thank you for tuning in to this coverage of Stanley County High School football on KGFX.